idea what it is, so whatever. Yeah, I'll also send it out on Discord. Wow, I have so many things. So many things.
You're not hearing anything, are you?
Hearing anything from you? No.
I'm listening to the YouTube just to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait, no, this should work. Why doesn't this work? Okay.
Oh, my audio sounds terrible, by the way, on YouTube.
Oh, I wonder why. Wait, does my audio sound good?
It sounds good, just a little loud.
Okay, maybe I could
check.
Yeah, because
Does my audio sound good to you?
Let me well, your audio sounds fine. It's probably I'll be able to track down the source of the issue.
On TikTok.
Your audio is what?
There's no audio on TikTok.
No audio on TikTok? Motherfuck. God damn it. This shit is so stupid.
Wait, now I'm confused because I can hear you on TikTok. See? Look.
What a
weird.
Okay, wait, why can't it just take the fucking desktop? Oh, I know what'll fix this.
How?
Okay. Motivation that excites. Okay, wait. Keep on speaking?
I'm still speaking.
Damn. Why can't this work? Why won't this work?
Stopping. Oh, it's back. It works on TikTok anyway.
Well, wait, but okay, I don't think they can hear you is the problem. For whatever reason, this silly, stupid, is it, could I just do this? If I just did this, would this work? Dr. Blitz, say more words?
More words.
Can people hear Dr. Blitz, or what's the deal? If I turn it like way up, can people hear?
More words. So many words. What if I just put it right next to my face?
Damn it. God damn it. I fucked it up.
Now there's no audio.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm willing to grant that there's no audio. Okay, wait. How about now? Can everyone hear?
No. Audio test. Check 1, 2, 3.
Okay, is the audio good?
Yes.
Okay, but is it? Okay, Blitz is quiet, sure. Blitz, can you keep on talking? Blitz, can you keep talking?
You're echoing really bad on YouTube, by the way.
Mother. Okay. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, how about now? Is there like crazy egregious imbalances? Okay, yeah, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. Allow me to go in and okay, so the audio is good on both places. There isn't like some egregious imbalance. You can hardly hear me on TikTok. Damn. Well, I suppose what I could do, uh, wait, okay, what about, because this might make you too loud is the problem. Something? Words? Okay, wait, I'll just turn it all the way up. Can you hear yourself? Ooh. Okay. Uh, why is this like this? Okay, I'm loud, but you're quiet. I don't know. I just don't know why that's true though. Oh, wait. Oh, but I know how to fix it. That's okay, sure. It disappeared? What the fuck? What do you mean it disappeared? This is fucking nonsense. Wait, can you keep on talking? Oh, I know what to do. Um, sure. Because, yeah. What I need is for you to be this one. Um, I love, this is great. I love scrambling around. Um, okay. In theory, you should be able to, why, this is silly. I don't think that this makes sense. Okay, wait. So, okay, wait. So I need to add. I know what the problem is. I'm able to identify the issue. It's just dumb. I don't know how to. Okay, wait. How do I get? Why the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I know what the problem is. I just don't know how to fix it. Let me. Uh. Oh no, that's actually not a good solution at all. Um. No, wait, hold on. I need to reverse it. Okay, wait. This should work. This should work. Dr. Blitz, say words.
Although it has been said on Earth alone in our galaxy is cricket, or cricket treated as fit subject for a game, and that for this reason the Earth has been shunned, this does only apply to our galaxy and more specifically to our dimension. In some of the higher dimensions, they feel they can more or less please themselves and have been playing a peculiar game called Brocchian Ultra Cricket, or whatever their transdimensional equivalent of billions of years is. Let's be blunt, it's a nasty game. But then anyone who has been to any of the higher dimensions will know that there are pretty nasty heathen lot up there who should just be smashed and done in, and would be too if anyone could work out a way of firing missiles at right angles to reality. This is another example of the fact that the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy will employ anyone who wants to walk straight in off the street and get ripped off, especially if they happen to walk in off the street during the afternoon when very few of the regular staff are there. There's a fundamental point here.
Wait, tell me, is it balanced? Is the audio balanced or is it
My audio is back on YouTube.
Yeah, a little loud, a little
Checking.
loud. Okay.
Checking. I guess the
How's
mic
this?
on TikTok is a little bit quiet. Well, I guess people think it's fine, so.
Is it okay? Is the mic quality good?
I guess? I don't know.
Okay, is the audio quality, is it fixed? Is it good or is it fixed? These things are distinct.
Does it sound like my audio is coming from AirPods? One sec. One sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can you still hear
you.
me? Oh my God. I'm such an idiot.
Oh my who?
Oh my science. I'm such an idiot. One sec. I have to change my it's coming from my AirPods, not my mic.
God is ass.
Is there a way to change that without refreshing?
Well, you can just refresh. It's fine.
Okay.
It won't mess anything up. Now that it's just us alone, science is fake. Defund science. Let's get science on out of here.
Even worse than coming from my AirPods, it was coming from my webcam.
No.
Yup.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay.
Should be a lot better now.
Okay, sure. Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, we're in. Welcome. Sorry that it took.
Yeah, right?
What are we at? How many minutes are we at of stream?
Well, if we were supposed to start at 8, then we're an hour and 6 minutes in.
Nice, but
we were supposed to start at 8:30. So we're 36 minutes in and it's fine. Larry
how
Beck
long
sent
is
us
the
a
video
super
actually
chat.
going for?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, like 10 minutes. Sure. It's just the
Yeah,
10-minute scramble.
exactly. As always. We did get a super chat from Larry Beck for $10, which we should appreciate because Larry says, y'all didn't panic. Most excellent. Yeah, why panic? Never
Thank you.
panic. And carry a
Yeah.
towel.
Is that a Hitchhiker's reference?
It is. I'm
Mhm.
surprised you haven't read that book.
No, I don't like fiction.
And yet you read theist literature.
That's why I've dedicated my life to tearing down God because of how little I like fiction.
I hate it.
Yeah, okay. Are we ready?
We are ready, and we do have a guest already.
Yeah, nice. Hey, Clark, how's it going?
Clark.
Clark.
Clark? Oh, we have to call him by his proper name. Kal-El?
Nice, good one. W reference. Clark, if you're trying
Pop
to speak,
culture.
I can't hear you. I think you probably selected the wrong microphone.
Probably.
Okay, wait. Did I properly send out a message in my Discord?
Not properly.
Allow me to.
Why?
All right.
Why are we wide? Why are we wide on your Discord?
That's just the Twitch one. You know, the Twitch puts us into a bit of a stretch.
Got it. I hate that, but I got it.
Dr. Blitz, how did these? So the survey you sent me of like quantum or of like physicists, where the second popular position is the epistemic one. How do these people deal with the double slit experiment as evidence against that?
I have no idea. I haven't even seriously looked into the view. It seems kind of like a cop-out. What do you mean you're doing math to your own understanding? Like what?
Yeah, get their ass. Okay. Clark, how's it going?
Oh, Ian, you should join on TikTok. You should.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I gotta install it first.
So, Clark, do you believe in God? Yeah, sure.
Oh, not this guy. Oh gosh, not this Clark. God, this guy's gonna say a slur. We gotta get rid of him.
Have we talked to him before?
His name is like Kantian constructivist. He's like a Discord person.
Hmm.
Um,
And he slurs? That's unfortunate.
yeah, he does.
And what did he ask? If analytic predicates are justified a priori, is that what he said?
Something like that. I don't know. This is what he does, kind of. He just like comes up and is like he just asks you like some niche like philosophical issue, and then you're like, I don't know, man. I don't really have a stance on that. And then he starts like slurring at you.
I see. Yeah, not very much of a Superman.
Yeah. Oh, we kicked the guest, but
apparently they can't hear guests on TikTok.
Yeah, let me
He was here and he did make sounds, so.
Yeah. I know how to fix this.
Or on YouTube, for that matter.
Okay, wait. Well, because presumably, Herm. Samuel, how's it going?
Samuel?
Going well. Let me figure out your situation, your mic situation. Can you say more words?
You sound fine to us. It's just you're not being broadcast as far as I know.
Yeah, let me but we will fix it. We will get it fixed.
You just got to keep saying words.
Let me
If you just want to say watermelon, what is it? Watermelon, carrots, peas, carrots, peas, watermelon, carrots, peas. That's what they teach you to say. If I remember correctly, that's what they teach you to say in like improv classes or whatever. If you want to make it look like you're saying something, but you're not actually saying anything, you just mouth those words.
Watermelon, carrots, peas.
Yeah.
Wait, can you say more words?
Yeah, just keep saying them.
Watermelon, carrots, peas.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. We fixed it. We did it.
Nice.
Yeah, I just put on my headphones.
Oh,
we did it.
I guess it worked.
Proud of us. Yeah, Samuel, how's it going?
Or probably just a coincidence. Yes, doing good. I have a question. So Do you both believe in the same thing, or is one person on one side and the other person's on the other?
We're
We're
both
both
atheists.
atheists.
Like we have like disagreements on other issues, but no, we're both atheists.
Okay, both atheists. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Are
you?
you
What
an
do you believe
atheist?
in?
No, I'm not an atheist. But I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm a Christian either. I believe in a God. I just don't believe in like, I'm more spiritual.
Do you think that a mind created the universe, though?
Uh, like a singular mind. I don't know. I
It
mean,
could be. I suppose it could be like three minds or something like that. But do you think that-
Or like 18 minds.
yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily. What I think of like the laws of nature. I think that's like what God is. It's more of like not like this like collective being that lives in the sky or anything like that. But I do think
But-
like it's outside of like. Well, go ahead.
So Samuel, what do you think that you and I disagree on anything substantially, like on the actual like the things that exist?
Because to be clear,
No.
we think the laws of nature exist.
Yeah, I think that I'm trying to like have my thoughts like be coherent over here.
Highly recommended.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to like God and order and creation, right? Like, I think that like the language of God rather is like is nature and everything like that. But I don't think it's like
Do we disagree on anything?
I don't. I mean, I don't know. Honestly.
Okay. It kind of sounds like Dr. Blitz and I certainly agree that laws of nature exist. So
Sure.
I'm not really sure what we disagree on.
We might disagree on what terms mean. Like maybe by God you mean laws of nature, but like that's not a substantial disagreement. So
Yeah.
it's probably not worth debating about linguistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
All right.
agree.
Well, I appreciate you coming on up.
Thanks for being here, Samuel.
Yeah. How's it going? Falcon Man, are you there? Doing well. How about you? Yeah, let me get your audio working.
In the
Okay.
meantime, Falcon Man, do you believe in God?
Can we agree on a semantic foundation?
Like
Yeah,
the
something
definition
like a
of God?
mind.
Yeah,
Something
so
like a mind that created the universe.
Yeah.
Okay, and believe meaning that like I have
Think
an
it's
opinion which is not based
true.
on fact.
You think it's true?
Well, I don't have to think something is true. Things are true without me, trying to be involved in them. There's a dictionary and there's a meaning of the word, regardless of whether or not I believe in it or not. So,
Yeah, but I'm just asking, do you think it's true that a mind created the universe?
I think that there is a consistency to physics.
Nice. Do you
Yep,
think that's
agreed.
an answer to the question?
So I think that there is pretty much there's no way to distinguish between will and physics. Like
do you think
my
this is an answer
will
to the question?
so what I'm saying is you're saying that there's a mind, right? But I'm not sure that
we haven't said anything yet. Do you think that a mind created the universe?
I think that mind can have multiple meanings.
Okay, a thing with thoughts.
Okay, I think that all of these words can have multiple meanings and they can happen. None of them are mutually exclusive. So
Falcon Man, are you a fan of Jordan Peterson, perchance?
no, not particularly. I know where you're coming from with that, though. Saying
It's
like
just because it seems like it's like there are words that we're using in like a standard way, like thoughts, the things that you and I do in our heads, right? Minds, the things that you and I identify as. That this is what we mean. The universe, the thing that you and I live in.
I think you're using a poetic term to describe a natural occurrence.
Nope.
So I think that like a lot of theologians base their beliefs in poetry, and you're using a poetic term to describe something that exists. I don't disagree with you on anything. I just don't adhere to a singular definition for
So
a
you
plural.
only disagree with our usage of words? You don't actually think that we have
Yes.
any, like,
So I think
oh, okay, we're not interested.
If you want to debate semantics, go find a linguist.
Yeah. All right.
Adam.
How's it going, Adam? Doing well. How old are you? Sure. What
Cool.
religion?
Classify, I would say maybe agnostic atheist.
What are you
Although
here for?
I could buy into things like panpsychism or panentheism, or universal consciousness.
What do we disagree on?
Well, I don't know. You guys seem like you're fixating on the concept of a creator god, but you guys aren't really acknowledging that a god does not necessarily have to consciously create anything.
Are you just here to disagree with our term usage as well?
I just don't think you guys are arguing anything, but you're asking people to disagree with you. So how can
saying
anyone
if
disagree
you-
with you?
If you think a mind created the universe, then we disagree.
What is a mind?
A thing with thoughts.
Okay, and according to panpsychism, you could say that any thoughts are fundamental. They're emergent of anything.
Nice. Did they create themselves?
So, did you create yourself?
No.
No.
Did the fundamental conscious particles, did they create themselves?
So you're arguing about what started
That's
the
dodge
universe,
number
not what
2.
God
I'm
is.
just asking you. I'll try number 3. Let's ask it for a third time. Do you think these conscious particles created themselves?
No, probably not. I mean,
Yeah. So then a mind did not create the universe.
how does that argument make sense in your mind? Because particles did
You
not
just
create
admitted
themselves, then a mind. Walk me through it, please.
Yeah,
So I'm obviously
because you
stupid.
think that consciousness is at the foundation of the universe, but you don't think this consciousness was created by a mind. So you don't
No,
think that a
matter
mind
comes
created the
first and
universe.
consciousness comes after.
So you agree that a mind did not create the universe.
I argue that the universe is a mind.
I understand that, but you
Right, but you don't think
recognize
it
that
was
a mind
created
didn't
by a mind.
create the universe.
So you think a god by definition is a creator.
That's how it's
that
typically
created the
understood in the
universe,
West, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are arguing a very specific Western ideology that
We
he
live in the West.
does not
Yeah,
exist.
we're arguing against the God that created the universe. You
This
could
is
be
a global
deist.
civilization.
What
You
we're
guys are
not interested
closed-minded.
in debating is like random gibberators who think that like idealism is true or panpsychism is true. Like we just don't really care about this.
Okay,
If
so
you
you
do,
believe
that's totally fine. Just go find someone to debate with. I don't have like
you
I don't
believe in
have
the
opinions on
impossibility
this.
of God.
Yeah, of a mind that created the universe. Yeah, I find
You
I
have
think that's
as
not
much faith
possible.
in the idea that God does not exist as people who do believe in God
That's not
believe
true.
that
I
he
can
does
present
exist.
an argument for the belief.
And people can present an argument for the other belief,
Then
the
do
other
it.
side, right?
Then do it. Then we'll debate it.
You haven't done yours yet.
Yeah, I'm happy to. You haven't asked. Do you want it?
I did earlier.
You
I said
didn't.
you guys are asking me to disagree with an
It's all
argument you have not
recorded.
presented
It's
yet.
all being live streamed. You can't lie. It's all recorded. You didn't
Adam,
ask.
the reason why
Yes.
we haven't presented an argument yet is because we were just trying to establish whether you actually disagree with us.
And how do,
Like
how
about
do
the
you know?
topic.
How does someone disagree with you if you haven't established your argument?
We
yet?
literally asked what your view on the position is. Why am I red all of a sudden?
I can't tell you what my view on the position is because, so you guys you're taking the stance that a god is
He
a
couldn't come up with
consciousness
a
that
reason why he couldn't do that, by the way. We just heard it. He tried to come up with a reason and he couldn't do it.
a god is a consciousness that predates matter. That's
A
your
mind
definition
that
of
created
God.
the universe. I don't know. If you're like an idealist, for example, you might not think that matter even exists. So just a mind.
You can be an
that created the
atheist
universe.
idealist, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree that the universe is not locally real?
I would bet money that you wouldn't be able to explain what that means.
Sure, I could. Is that information travels faster than light, and therefore
That's not what that
there's no
means.
particles transferring from one point to another with this information, but it can propagate faster than the speed of light or the speed of gravity, and therefore we live in.
No, that's not what not locally real means.
Okay, what does it mean? Please tell me.
Not
Doctor,
locally
please.
real means that either it is the case that there are non-local properties of our universe. Non-local properties meaning that there is instantaneous or FTL things. It's either that or that there are properties of our universe that are not fixed in a classical sense. That's the contention. You have realism, which is that things have properties independent of measurement, and then you have locality, which is that things only influence their surroundings, at a fixed rate. When all of the headlines from 2022 came out and said that the universe is not locally real, what they mean is it's not local or it's not real. We don't know which one. And they also neglected the third thing, which is that the outcomes of experiments could be the experiments themselves could be correlated. So,
I mean, all right, have a good day, guys.
Yeah, thanks so
Bye,
much for
Adam.
coming on up. Gosh, if there's one thing I love, it's tone policing.
right? We have $5 from ZM. I look forward to this show now. I'm just starting to catch it live. Thanks. Well, thank
That's
you, ZM.
cool. Big W.
Yeah.
ZM,
All right, let's
never
bring up
come
John.
up and join and argue with us about definitions.
Never.
How's it going, John? Yeah, let me get your
Hey.
audio sorted out. How's it going? Going well. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in God?
Okay. Goodbye, John.
Vikas. Oh,
How's it going?
Vikas? Vikas? I don't know how to say the name. Hello? Oh, we can't hear anymore.
Oh, wait, who?
People are saying they can't hear.
Can't hear anything? There's no audio at all?
So YouTube's working, no audio though on TikTok.
Hello, how are you guys?
No audio at all?
Sounds.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh no, people can hear now. Yeah, we can hear you, Vikas.
Hello.
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
can you
You're
hear
good.
me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't hear anymore.
Oh, wait. Can you turn it off?
They can't hear. Can't hear
Lucas, you gotta. You're still playing it in the background. You need to turn it off, please. Otherwise, we'll be able to hear our own voice.
How are you guys?
No audio at all.
Okay, that's too much. It's too much for me, man. Andrew, how's it going, Andrew? Yeah, how are
Howdy.
you? Yeah, do
Well-
you think God exists?
I think, yeah, I think most likely, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
wait, what people are saying there's no audio.
No guest audio.
Okay, is it okay?
Andrew, say something.
Hello, how's it going?
Yeah, we can hear you on TikTok. You're good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with our audio stuff today. But anyway, Andrew, so you say that you think that it's most likely that there is a God. Are you a member of a particular faith? Are you a Christian, a Muslim, Jew, Hindu,
Yes,
Zoroastrian?
I am Jewish.
You're Jewish. Okay, cool. And you take kind of like the traditional Jewish view that there is a being that created the universe?
I take the Jewish view that Jesus is the Messiah.
Well, that's not the Jewish view.
Well,
Wait, okay,
it is.
people on TikTok are saying that there's no audio.
No, now they're saying we can hear.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Because traditional Jews, they look forward to a Messiah. But
Yep,
as a
and they don't
Messianic
think Jesus was the Messiah.
Well, wait, but let's not.
Well, I think
it
there's
sounds like he's
evidence
like,
that he was.
sounds like he's
I
like a
think if you look-
Christian. So maybe you can show
Yeah.
us the argument that his belief is true instead of arguing about words even more.
Okay, so what's going
Yeah.
on?
Why
Oh.
should we think that God exists? What's your evidence or argument for that?
I think there's sufficient evidence that that Jesus was resurrected from the dead on the third day.
Mm. And do you recognize that this would be a violation of the laws of physics?
Well, that's why it's a miracle.
Yeah, but you do recognize that it's a violation of the laws of physics. Now, would you recognize that you have the strongest possible evidence that you could possibly have that the laws of physics are true and universal? Like,
I mean, yeah, but
literally
God
trillions of
exists
instances
outside.
of them holding, way more than that even, every single day of your life.
Okay, but God exists outside of space and time. He's not bound by the laws of physics.
So what we're assessing is the claim that a dude rose from the dead, a dude violated the laws of physics. So what you would be appealing to is your conclusion. That's circular. We need to establish the probability of it in reference to the laws of physics, in reference to our prior probabilities. So the prior probability of a person rising from the dead is astronomically low. In fact, it's probably the lowest thing that could possibly happen is a violation of the laws of physics. So we just have like insanely good evidence against that happening.
But there's no evidence that a being that is not bound by the laws of physics cannot break the laws of physics. For example,
You're
like
assuming
God,
you're assuming your conclusion again. You're trying to say, and I'll just be super clear here. So the evidence that you're trying to give for God's existence is that this thing happened that violated the laws of physics. So you can't assume that the thing you're trying to prove is the thing that allows you to provide evidence for the thing that you're trying to prove. If you're trying to provide evidence for the existence of God by means of, say, the resurrection of Jesus, then you have to provide some independent evidence for why this should be probable, besides assuming God exists.
sure. I mean, there were many eyewitnesses. There were many people who were willing to die. Usually, people don't die for what they know is a lie. And you might say, well, they had a benefit, for example, or like every religion dies. Everyone from a religion dies for what they believe is true. However, the disciples knew that they were going to die, that they were going to suffer. For example, if you take Islam, the way Islam spread was through conquest. And so they did have something to gain in spreading Islam. But in Christianity and in the Jewish apostles that saw Jesus rise from the dead, they had no motivation other than they saw undeniably what they believed is true, that Jesus was alive from the dead, and they were willing to suffer without any gain.
What's more likely, that the laws of physics are violated, or that somebody dies for a lie?
Well, your premise is that, once again, that it has to abide by the laws of physics, but the whole thing of the resurrection is that it was a miraculous resurrection, that obviously it's not possible. A person cannot rise from the dead, which is why it's a miracle.
It's not possible, is what you're telling me.
Wow,
I'm
well, if
saying,
it's not possible.
So it has probability 0.
Yeah. So then we would just assess the probability
God
of
does
your
not exist, it has a
conclusion
zero
of what you're
probability of happening.
hypothesizing. We would just say, oh, well, I guess that has 0 probability.
Look, the thing is you can't assume that God exists in order to prove that God exists.
Well, then I don't really know what to say. I mean, by definition, God is an omniscient, all-powerful being. So, and he exists, as you probably heard, outside of space and time. So, I mean, I think by definition,
look, Andrew, we're willing to grant that if God exists, then God could violate laws of physics, although, then they're not really laws of physics. The point is that then you would need some other justification for convincing us that God exists to enable Jesus to rise from the dead. You can't use Jesus's resurrection, Jesus's supposed resurrection, as justification for the thing that is required to exist to justify Jesus rising from the dead.
yeah, that is circular reasoning.
Right. So you need an out somewhere. You need something external from the argument.
That's why the argument for miracles
there are many
almost
other arguments.
universally fails. Is just because we will always have way more evidence for the laws of physics than we will for any miracle. Even if there was equivalent evidence for a miracle as there was for the laws of physics, which there wouldn't be, but let's say there was, at that point, it would just be like a 50-50 split and you would just remain agnostic to it.
Who set the laws of physics in place?
Are we pivoting away from the argument for miracles?
I mean, sure, because miracles, I mean, I guess it's kind of circular reasoning, because miracles, the whole point is that they're miraculous. They cannot be explained in natural terms. So I guess my question then is, why do we have such fine-tuned physics in the laws of physics in the first place?
That's a great question. Why are the laws of physics the way they are? I don't know. Do you know? Under your worldview, do you have an explanation?
Yeah, I think the explanation is that God set the laws of physics in place. Obviously, they're
Why did he set them
incredibly-
this way?
Yeah. Why didn't he make us like electrons in love? Couldn't he have given conscious, moral life in any universe?
Well, I think the answer is because he, as you find in John 3:16, he loved the world so much. So that's what
But
he made.
why did he
Loved
make the
any
world
universe?
this way?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not God's consultant. I don't know why he made it. I guess you'd have to ask him.
Okay. So
But-
we both have failed explanations as to why the laws of physics are the way they are. You don't know why God chose the laws of physics to be this way. I don't know why the laws of physics are this way either.
But I do have an explanation, because God made the laws of physics this way. You can't.
Right. But you don't have any
define-
explanation for why God made the laws of physics this way. I could just say the universe made the laws of physics this way.
Yeah.
And then you would ask me, okay, well, why did it make the laws of physics this way? And that'd be a good question.
Yeah.
But like, what mechanism set the universe to exist? What mechanism set the Big Bang?
I don't know. Do you know the mechanism for what made God choose the laws of physics to be the way they are?
Yeah. If God could achieve a world that he would love in every single universe that could possibly be created, then there's absolutely no reason to choose this universe over any other one. So, for example, God could have made a bunch of electrons, and then they all could have been in love with each other, they could have loved God. He could have given a bunch of minds to electrons. So, if he could get exactly what he was looking for from that universe, then there's no reason why he would choose this universe over that universe.
Well, once again, you would have to. This is turning into an agnostic argument.
Well, what we would need to do then
it's a
is appeal to
defeater.
different data.
Yeah.
So
So
if you're saying God exists because of the data of fine tuning, and then we demonstrate that fine tuning doesn't favor your view over ours, then it's just a piece of data that actually doesn't indicate that God exists. So we would need to look at different data.
Such as what data?
Probably
Some other
evil.
argument.
Yeah. So I don't know. If there's a button in front of you and pushing that button cures cancer, would you push that button?
Me, I would probably push that button.
Would God push that button?
I mean, once again, the answer is we don't know.
We do know. He wouldn't push the button.
Oh.
You know, he has the power to cure cancer and he doesn't do it. So clearly God wouldn't push the button that cures cancer.
He also has the power to remove all evil, but he doesn't do
Let's
that.
not pivot away. Let's just talk about cancer. We can talk about the other evil
Okay,
later.
sure.
So you agree that you would push the button that cures cancer, God would not push the button that cures cancer.
Well, I guess we don't know.
If God had the power to cure cancer, would he cure cancer?
We don't know, because
God had the
if
power to
he
cure cancer, could God cure cancer?
yes, he could.
Okay, so if God has the power to cure cancer, cancer exists, it's not cured, but you don't know whether or not if God has the power to cure cancer, he would cure cancer. Do you think saying I don't know to that makes you sound intellectually honest? The answer is obvious. Obviously, he wouldn't cure cancer if he has the power to cure cancer, because he has the power to cure cancer right now in your worldview, and he doesn't do it. So obviously he wouldn't.
But every worldview has to deal with cancer and the worldview where they are.
Under any naturalist worldview or any materialist or physicalist worldview, cancer is not only explained but expected.
Exactly. And so,
But under your worldview, it's very unexpected.
Yeah.
well, not really, because of the original sin, humans have become mortal, and there has been evil that.
Quick question. Do you think that Adam and Eve actually existed?
I would say I would say probably that is the case, because then if they didn't exist, then that would create a whole. The Bible is so intertwined that would create a lot of problems.
You're right, it would. So it is your view that Adam and Eve actually existed and actually had a conversation with a talking snake and actually ate from a tree of knowledge that made them realize that they're naked.
Yes.
Why would God put babies in the same room as a known predator?
Well, is there an example in?
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Bible?
there is. God put Adam and Eve in a Garden of Eden with a known predator, Satan.
So what you're saying is that he caused Adam and Eve to sin?
No, he was just negligent.
No, he was criminally negligent. He was a bad father.
Yeah. Would you put your children in a room with Satan?
Creation stops when you create something. If you create a child and that child does something evil, it's not your fault. It's
but the child, you're misunderstanding. What happened is man's wife gives birth to twins. Man takes twins, drops them off at daycare with a known predator, and then just leaves. And then when he finds out that the predator is predating, he punishes the infants.
All right, but what happened in the Garden of Eden was that Satan, on his own free will, chose to do that. But the whole idea of
so why is God punishing the babies?
Okay, it's what happened is they had the free will to choose not to eat the fruit. They weren't
babies
forced.
have free will to not touch the stove, but they do it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, because of their free will. And
would
their
you
free
punish
will
a baby for touching the stove? Would you curse them for all eternity for touching the stove?
Well, they weren't cursed for all eternity because there was redemption for Jesus.
Well, wait, but clearly not, right? Because you think that the reason why cancer exists is because of the curse. So, the curse wasn't lifted. There's still cancer.
Yeah, because of the original sin.
But I thought it got lifted with Jesus.
Yeah, and that's why when we are on this world, which is fallen, we are bound by decay. We're bound by sickness. When we die and our flesh separates from our soul, which has been cleaned because of Jesus, then we enter a world where there is no suffering, where it's not fallen.
Wait, so did Jesus fail to lift the curse? Did he do like a half-assed job?
No, because you see that the dilemma is this. So I'm gonna have to use an example here. So let's view God as a judge, because in a way he does judge the world. And let's say he, like a friend of his, let's just say a judge has a friend. That friend commits a crime. The judge has to be a righteous judge. He has to punish that crime. But because he also loves his friend, he can offer a way to take the punishment instead of him. So, for example, he's in a courtroom. The judge goes down to the defendant. He punishes him, but he offers to take the punishment for him because he loves his friend. So God.
So the remnants of Adam and Eve's punishment are no longer on us because Jesus took it all?
Yeah, we are free from sin.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, then why is there cancer?
And then there's no cancer.
Cancer is in the flesh. It's because our flesh is still of the world, which is fallen. Our soul has been renewed.
So Jesus didn't take all of the punishment. He took like some of the punishment, and then he was like, "Oh, but you can serve the rest."
He took the punishment that we deserve in hell.
But did he take all of the?
Hold on, quick question: does anybody go to hell anymore?
No, people who are not saved, obviously, unfortunately.
Okay, so he didn't take the punishment. He took the punishment. He didn't even take the spiritual punishment from everybody. He only took the spiritual punishment from some people.
From his friends.
No, he took the spiritual punishment for everyone who wants salvation. People who don't want to accept him for some reason, they end up, it's because of their own free will, because of their choice to not receive this free way of going into eternal life. They end up.
Let's get very linear about this. You said cancer stems from the curse. Is the curse still on the earth?
Yes.
So Jesus did not lift the curse.
He did not lift the curse that is found on this earth.
So Jesus did not lift the curse.
Well, sorry, I made a mistake. What I intended to say, I misspoke. What I intended to say earlier on was that he took the punishment for us, not the curse is on this. Okay, I made a mistake. I apologize. What I meant to say was this. We deserve a punishment because we all sinned on our free will to go to hell. But God, being a judge that is righteous and loving, chooses to offer a sacrifice so that we don't go to hell. I did not mean to. I misspoke. I did not mean to say he freed us from the curse of this earth. What I meant to say was that he freed us from the punishment that we deserve in hell.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to focus. Oh, Blitz, you have something?
But yeah. So the reason why we got to talking about Jesus was because I mentioned that God punished babies for eternity for touching the stove. And you said, oh, it's not for eternity. He sent his son to make it finite. But now we've just acknowledged that Jesus didn't lift the curse. He didn't lift the punishment. So
yeah,
can we go back to the fact that, can we go back? Yeah, no, I recognize that you misspoke. So can we go back to the point that God punished babies, or at best, like intellectually disabled adults, for touching the stove for eternity?
Yes.
Okay, and you think that a good father would punish their intellectually disabled adult children for eternity for touching the stove?
Not for eternity, because our lives here are temporary, but in heaven.
Well, no, I'm talking about the world. The world touched the stove once. The humanity touched the stove once, and then now the father, who's punishing the intellectually disabled children, is doing that for eternity.
Punishing all of their children too, like punishing all their children for forever, right?
Who, compared to God, are intellectually disabled, right?
Yeah, but not every individual person for eternity. And actually not even for eternity, because when in the second coming of Jesus, as promised in the Bible, then when he will reign as king from Jerusalem, that will not.
Okay, I mean, we can just make this more realistic. So Adam and Eve lived what, 900 years or 600 years or something like this. So let's say you're a parent, you have two intellectually disabled children, and then they both touch the stove, and when they touch the stove, they become, it cures their intellectual disability, and as a result, you punish them for 570 years. Mm-hmm. Does that seem like a good father?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Then why did God do it?
Okay, but the problem here is that the stove, that example is, well, it doesn't harm you, but what sin is rebellion against God.
The stove does harm you. It burns your hand.
If your child rebelled against you through sin is a rebelling against God. That's what it is. If someone rebelled against you, you would probably, ground them. What?
Right, but they didn't know that that's what sin was. They didn't know that rebellion was bad because they hadn't eaten from the stove. That's why I said they were essentially intellectually disabled.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're punishing somebody who didn't know better.
I mean, it's still rebellion. You wouldn't.
That's crazy. Like, you wouldn't, like, if you're, like, again, and I hate to use this example because I don't want to, take advantage of, I don't want to, like, come off as ableist, but, like, if you have an adult child who has the intellectual capacity of, like, a 4-year-old, and then they go and they rebel against you, like, they contradict your words, or they do something that you told them not to do, that doesn't mean that you punish them for the rest of their life. That's, like, monstrous.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And
You
that's what
officially
God
were-
did.
Yeah, I guess you can say from our perspective that that's because we just want, the easy way of, no accountability for our actions. But I mean, I guess to God, essentially, once again, this is getting into the realm of like, what does God think, etc. I think I think for him, sorry, I have to. Oh, what happened?
Oh,
Can you
no,
hear me?
nothing. Yeah, no, everything's good. I don't know how people do this. I don't know how people join unmuted. I don't know how they do that.
I don't know, just kick him.
Okay.
Anyways, what I meant to say was they were punished because of their rebellion, because of the original sin. Now, the thing with heaven is that if you have at least one sin on you, it like you're cooked basically. So that one sin, while it may seem insignificant to us, in order to get into heaven, you need a perfect record. That's what the Bible teaches. So that one rebellion, what I'm saying is, to get into heaven, you need a clean. You need to be sinless, or at least sinless in God's view.
Who made that rule?
Huh?
Who made that rule?
God.
Okay, and did he have to make it that way?
Now we're getting into like, did he have to? Should
Yeah.
he have done it?
Yeah. Well, the entire
Once
thing
again,
is a should
what's
he have done it
happening right
question,
now is
right?
that-
All of it is a moral question.
What's happening right now is that we are trying to like place our morals onto God. Now, obviously, we wish this world was perfect. We wish there was no suffering. We wish we could just all go to heaven and be in peace and have all of this for free, with no consequence, with no suffering that comes with this world. So once again, this is what we're getting into is like, oh well, God should have done this. God, he could have done this. Yeah.
True, that is what we're doing.
So I
yeah.
guess this is what
You should,
what's
you shouldn't
happening
have
right
punished
now is
people for
Like it's
multiple
abusive.
generations. Yeah.
It's like what an abusive father does.
if your child rebelled against you, you wouldn't ground them.
If your child was intellectually disabled, had the intellectual capacity of a 4-year-old, no, you wouldn't ground them for the rest of their life. That's deranged.
Yeah, but you would ground them temporarily and then probably.
I don't even think that you would. Why would somebody be deserving of punishment if they don't have the intellectual capability to understand that what they did was wrong?
Yeah, I feel like it's a failure on your part, to be honest, right? Like if your
Well,
kid
actually, wait.
ends
They
up
did
touching
know
the
what they were
stove,
doing was wrong. Hold on, they did know
No,
what
they
they were
didn't.
doing was wrong.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what was the
because
tree?
God
What did
said-
the tree do? What
God
was the
said,
tree?
"Do not eat from the tree." He said,
Right.
"Don't
Now,
eat."
what did the tree do? What was it called?
It was the tree of knowledge. They ate the
Tree of knowledge of good and evil. So if they hadn't eaten from it, did they have knowledge about what was right to do and what was wrong to do?
They did, because God said the only thing they cannot do is eat the.
So if they had knowledge of this, then where did they get that knowledge from if they hadn't eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of right and wrong?
What I'm saying is that they knew what they were doing was wrong because God said, "Don't eat from the tree." They actively.
How did they
rebelled
know
against
that it was wrong to disobey
Because
him?
because God said to Adam and Eve, "Do not eat from the tree."
How
Eat
did
from
they
any
know
tree
that
you
it
want."
was wrong to disobey him?
Because God said that to them.
God
They
said don't.
knew.
God said
Wait,
don't
so
do
wait,
this.
wait,
How did they
there's
know it was
the-
wrong to do that?
Wait, hold on, because there's like a normative question here, right? How did they know that listening to God was the right thing to do? Like, why would they know that if there was no knowledge of good and evil? How are they supposed to know that listening to God was good? Like, sure, God says don't do this, but why ought they listen to God if they have no knowledge of good and evil?
Hold on, they did. Let me just get the verse just to make sure I'm quoting everything
I
correct.
agree, God says don't do this, but with no knowledge of good and evil, why do they have a moral obligation to listen to him?
Or a moral responsibility, perhaps?
True.
And I think it was the answer. Well, the answer was very linear or binary, whatever you want to call it. It was the only commandment at that time: don't eat from the tree.
Why did they have a
should
moral
think that's-
responsibility to obey it?
Why do they think? Why should they think that that's good? Why would we expect them to think that that's good when they don't have knowledge of good and evil?
Well, they did because they knew that eating from the tree was wrong.
So, wait, so there was knowledge of good and evil prior to the knowledge of good and evil?
There was knowledge that you shouldn't eat from the tree.
Oh, so there was knowledge of good and evil prior to eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil?
Look, well, let's go back to your 4-year-old child.
Can I just get an answer to the question? Was there knowledge of good and evil prior to eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Was there that knowledge? Did it exist?
Was there knowledge that eating from the tree was bad? Is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was because God said don't eat. From the
So
tree.
there was knowledge of good and evil prior to eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
So
There
Andrew,
was- Okay. Can I just
maybe I can make
please-
this a little bit more clear. So let's say that you don't know anything. You can know that somebody told you to do something without knowing that you should listen to them. Right?
Yeah.
So in the garden, before eating from the knowledge of good and evil, they don't know what they should or shouldn't do because those are normative claims. Those are claims about what's good and what's bad. You should do good things. You shouldn't do bad things. But if they didn't have knowledge about what's good and what's bad, they don't know what they should or shouldn't do. Now, they certainly did know that God told them not to do something, but they don't know if they should do that thing or not. They just know what God said to do, not what they should do.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, let's go back to your child touching the stove example. You told your child not to touch the stove.
Mm-hmm.
They know you shouldn't touch that.
No, they
know
don't.
shouldn't.
No, they don't know that you shouldn't. They know that you told them not to. They don't know that you shouldn't.
Not.
Sorry?
Did you tell them not to?
You told them not to. You didn't tell them, but that doesn't mean that they know that they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, so, okay, what's going on here? There's like two philosophical concepts at play. There's normativity, the reason you have to do something, and then there's an imperative, just saying like, do this, don't do this. There needs to be a reason to think that the imperative that God gave them, don't eat from the tree, is normative, that it gives them some reason to not do it. What reason did they have to not do it?
No, this is becoming a circular question.
Not.
That's
I think
well, they hadn't, because God said, if you eat this tree, you will be cast out of the Garden of Eden. You will be condemned to death.
what reason did they have for thinking that that listening to God is good?
Because they had a moral, like, set of moral rules that God created everyone with.
So they had knowledge of good and evil.
They did have knowledge of good and evil.
So why'd they eat from the tree?
I don't know.
Did the tree give them anything that they didn't already have?
Yeah, they gave them a self-consciousness about their state, and
So was the tree just misnamed? Was it really the tree of self-consciousness, not the tree of knowledge of good and evil?
It was the tree of knowledge of your nakedness.
Mm.
Yeah, why they were named? Well, I mean, technically, knowing that you're naked is still knowledge, so I guess it could be called the tree of knowledge.
Well, it's knowledge of good and evil, right?
I need to look up the proper verse. I'm ready to. Let's see here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
I feel like this is a good argument. I should develop this. I feel like it's probably true that there's no normative reason for them to have listened to that.
So if you go to
especially prior
Genesis
to knowledge.
2:17, if you go to Genesis 2:17, but it says, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die." Now, this is the translation from the Hebrew Direct, and it's the translation that Jewish people use. But, you know, we could go look at what the words, actually, the word is hada'at tov v'ra. Now, hada'at would be knowledge, tov is good, and ra is bad or evil. So it's in the original text. So, like, it's definitely tree of knowledge of good and evil. Oh, he left. Did he leave?
No, he didn't. He's still here.
Why can't I hear him?
He's not talking. Andrew,
Oh.
are you there?
I don't even see his name.
I still see him.
Weird.
Andrew, hello?
What is this person with the green thing going in a circle?
He has like the hacks to join without your audio on, but unfortunately it doesn't auto connect to stream. Like the audio doesn't auto connect to stream, so it's all a fruitless effort. We can hear it. It's like an annoying
I can't hear it.
sound. No, I muted him, right? Like I'm in here hunting this guy down like I'm the goddamn Terminator, but you know, when he joins with the unmuted version, you'll just hear like the blips, but you know. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, dropping those subscribes, dropping those likes. We have supers.
Yeah. Right, let me pull them up. So we have a lot. From Zachariah with the $2. I don't want to give you money, but how do I join? Well, you did give us money, and you join by clicking or by going to the link in the background. From ZM with the $5. Every new guest, the guest is silent, and then suddenly we can hear them. I guess that's been fixed.
Well, so I mean, that's just how it's going to go, right? Like I need to copy and paste it into Streamlabs.
Right.
There's just simply no workaround for this. It's fine, you know. We'll just say, "Hey, how's it going?"
So
it'll be like
I actually do.
And then their audio will appear.
I actually do have a workaround. I just grab the audio when I'm live streaming. I just grab the audio from the browser, and then I can hear them the moment I unmute them, and then it just grabs the audio from the browser. But we don't have to. We can worry about that later. From Jace. Oh, go ahead.
No, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so from Jason Todd Joker with the $2. Stop interrupting when someone is speaking. No.
I mean, it depends what they're saying, you know. If what they're saying is relevant, if what they're saying answers the question, then of course we're going to allow them to finish. But if they're just like completely dodging, you know, I can't allow someone to just completely dodge. That's not productive. Wait, Blitz, do you hear it right now?
Yeah, I hear it right now.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. But it's, you know, it's like
very annoying
annoyance, and then it gets muted.
So from Cutting Edge with the $20, it's called faith. You can't deny it without proof, and you can't prove it either. It's like the theory of evolution. The probability of something living coming from something non-living is 1 in 10 to the 40th. It's practically impossible. Well, thank you for giving us $20 to say something like completely unrelated and also false about evolution.
Nice.
I appreciate that. I appreciate hate watchers who give us money. From Miko Makapo with the £5 just tuned in to support. Nothing clever to say. Did Ian find out 100 pence is £1? He was wondering a long time ago. Did you?
I have no fucking idea. I don't even remember this.
They call it so cents are just pence in England because they just like to mispronounce things.
Oh, I do remember this. Yeah.
From Master of Fent, funny name, with the $5. Religion isn't real, and I respect this stream. Good speaking up. Yeah, we'll take it. And then from Jason Todd Joker with the $2. Jesus saved our souls, not our flesh. Okay, so then the curse is still there. From Zachariah with the $2, Jesus took eternal death penalty. How do I get on? Still confused. It says in the background, join as guest, and it gives you a link. From Tim Bimbadil with the $5, have it your way, shrug. Love you both. From Mike, right? From Mike Old Newbie with the $10, happy Sunday. I haven't watched recently. I hope Blitz's employment situation has improved. Currently, I'm making enough money from, making videos and doing live streams that I'm actually not so worried about an employment situation. But we'll see. I'm still going to be applying for jobs once they open up again. And then from No Pain, No Gain with the €2, gross. What about prehistoric humans that were naked? Yeah, good point. They were naked. Oh, and we got one more. Unprof Trader. You ever thought about debating another YouTuber like Big John Steele? He does the same thing you do, but for religion. We have. Both of us have. And then from Chessbutt with the $5, Dr. Blitz, let's say you don't know anything. Me, way ahead of you. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. That is all of the super chats. Let's bring on another guest.
Mm-hmm. Bro, this guy keeps on joining and he's like, but then unfortunately he doesn't know that nobody but us can hear it, so it's just a minor annoyance, you know.
Yep.
It's like a slight nuisance. He goes again. Nobody fucking cares. Get out of here, bud.
Should we bring up Boris?
Yeah. Hey Boris, how's it going?
Yeah.
Give us just a second to get your audio situated. But yeah. Okay, should be good. Boris, you can speak.
Okay, so I have a few questions.
Mhm.
Do you believe that human life is valuable?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I more value personhood, but yeah.
So you believe that human life is worth preserving?
I think
Generally.
personhood is worth preserving.
Why?
To which one? Oh, sure. I think everyone has a right to freedom and well-being, just in virtue of being a person. So
I generally like humans. So like I value things that I like.
So you believe that humans, what did you say, have a right to virtue and well-being?
freedom and well-being. Yeah,
Freedom and
persons have a right to freedom and well-being.
persons. Okay, why?
Yeah, because every person takes actions, they pursue things and achieve them. But if you're pursuing something, if you make something your end, you necessarily will the means to that end. The necessary means to every single end is your freedom and well-being. So you ought have freedom and well-being if you pursue any end. But because you ought have it, others ought not interfere with it, which means that you would claim a right to freedom and well-being. But then because your agency is sufficient for you to have this right, every person has this right.
And why is that true?
For the reason that I just explained to you, I just gave you the proof.
Well, all of that, what you've just said in a secular worldview, is all completely arbitrary.
Can you summarize back to me what I just said, or were you not even listening?
Well, it was a lot. I mean, I didn't completely understand it, but the fact is that it's arbitrary.
How do you know
it's arbitrary if you didn't understand it?
Yeah.
Well, because you don't have a presupposition, huh?
What?
You're just
gave
saying,
you the
oh, well,
logical proof. It's logically necessary. We just deduced it.
well,
Which
you're
premise
saying
do you disagree with?
that human flourishing is important because we have human agency and we have an ends to a mean.
So, in virtue of being an agent, every single agent makes something their end. They pursue things, but the necessary means, if you make something your end, you necessarily will the means to that end. The means to every single end is the freedom to take actions towards it and the well-being to actually succeed in those actions. But if you ought have, so you would say, every single agent would say, I ought have my freedom and well-being just in virtue of trying to achieve their end. But if you ought have it, others ought not interfere with it. And if others ought not interfere with it, that means that everybody claims a right to freedom and well-being. But because from everybody's perspective, their agency is sufficient for their own right to freedom and well-being, that means every agent must recognize every other agent's right to a freedom and well-being. Otherwise, there's a logical contradiction in their view.
Right, but who makes that true?
Logic.
Logic makes that true?
Yeah.
So what if my end goal, right, as an agent with agency, is to eliminate all of humanity?
Yeah, then that would be self-contradictory because you would need to will both that you have the right to freedom and well-being to do such an act, and also at the same time deny people that same right, even though both of you have the same sufficient property. So agency in this case, in your worldview, would be sufficient for a right to freedom and well-being, but also insufficient for a right to freedom and well-being. So there'd be a contradiction on your view.
Well, okay, let's suppose that there was a society and something that they did in the society is they they killed babies, let's say.
Yeah.
Every
they
third
would have the exact
birth.
same contradictions I just laid out.
Right, but contradiction? I mean, is this some kind of universal law that you've just?
Yeah, it's the law of non-contradiction. Contradictions are false universally, yeah.
Well, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Contradictions are
Logic
false. So
does
what?
matter,
So
yeah.
so what if I contradict you, or
Then
what
your
if I?
worldview is false. Your view is
Well, no.
self-defeating.
I'm not talking about my worldview. I'm talking about hypothetically. What if I do something that contradicts that?
Then your
Like, what
then your
if I
ethics are false. Your ethical system is false. It's self-defeating.
So what if I try? So okay, if I try and my goal is to eliminate all of humanity, your defense would be, well, that would be
It would be irrational.
contradictory.
Yeah.
Contradictory.
Yeah, there's no rational way to defend that as ethical, and because there's no rational way to defend it as ethical, necessarily it's unethical.
Ethical?
Yeah. You're asking about
Moral,
ethics.
good.
Yeah.
How can an atheist or a secularist make an ethical or moral claim? Huh?
I just explained it to you. Do you need it again?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I'll give it to you a third time, right? This is why it's like good to listen. Maybe like stop following your script and you might actually track the argument this
Well,
time.
you're using all this vague and arbitrary language that has.
If you have a
no
problem with the
bearing on
language that Ian is,
reality.
if you have a problem with the language that Ian is using, stop them and ask, "Hey, what does this mean?"
Yeah.
Or what do you mean by that?
Happy to clarify.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. So
The question, just to reiterate, my question was, how can a secularist or atheist make a moral or ethical claim?
yeah, because there's certain necessary conditions, there's certain necessary beliefs that every single agent is going to be committed to. From this, you can deduce that every agent is committed to every other agent having a right to freedom and well-being. To deny
Why?
that leads to
Why?
a contradiction.
Why?
Because if you're an agent, then you necessarily pursue ends. But if you
Sure,
pursue
yeah.
an end, then you need to say that you ought have the means to that end. So, for example, if your end is to go to college, you ought do the prerequisites to go to college. Now, the unified means for every single end are going to be the freedom to take actions towards that end and the well-being to actually succeed in it. What this indicates is that every single agent is going to say that they ought have freedom and well-being, but if they ought have it, others ought not interfere with it. And if others ought not interfere with it, then they're claiming a right to freedom and well-being. What this indicates is that every single agent is going to determine that in virtue of their agency, they have a right to freedom and well-being. But because their agency in and of itself was sufficient for the right to freedom and well-being, that means that agency as a property is sufficient for the right to freedom and well-being as a property. So every agent is bound to recognize every agent as having a right to freedom and well-being. Otherwise, there's a contradiction in their view.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to go into a hypothetical, and I'm not trying to be edgy, but I do believe that this does have a bearing to the argument.
Sure.
So let's say there is an old person on their deathbed, and their will is for their grandson to have, I don't know how to use TikTok language, have sex with their unalived body, and that's the grandma's will, right? Is there something wrong with that
I would
in your
think,
secularist worldview?
well, I would think that it's like super disgusting. But if you're asking
Sure,
if
yeah,
there's
it's
something
disgusting,
like morally
but is that
impermissible,
Uh-huh.
yeah, well, so I think that that's like aesthetically revolting, like absolutely disgusting, indicative of like a severely unwell individual. Typically, those people who are severely unwell don't have the ability to give consent. In fact, we would just take care of these people. Like if somebody is so unwell,
Who are we to
would-
say who is severely unwell?
because if somebody is that level of unwell, then they're not even able to have effective
Well, how do we know that
agency.
they
don't
are
have
that
the
level
ability to
of
consent to this
unwell?
sort of thing in the first place.
How do we know that they are that level of unwell? How do we
Because of the
judge
thing that
that?
they're intending to do. Because if somebody is like this level of unwell that they want their grandson to sleep with their corpse, then we would just say that this person probably doesn't have the sufficient agency to have a right to freedom. Instead, what we need to do is just preserve their well-being at like a state level. So we would
How do
assign
we
them a
make that
caretaker.
determination other than
We do
that
this
that it's
literally all the
aesthetically
time. Are you-
unpleasing?
Yeah, are you aware of the fact that we do this all the time? Like, for example, if somebody is like so severely unwell that they commit like heinous actions, very often they'll get put into some sort of institution where they'll be able to be looked after for their entire life. And that's good. We should do that.
See, the problem is you're making all kinds of determinations off of no metrics for morals, right? Why is that grandma so unwell? Other than the fact that it's just disgusting, right? Why is that unwell? Why is that morally unwell? Other than the fact that it just feels disgusting.
Wait, so I'm not saying that there's any moral implication to that, because I wouldn't even say that the grandma is a moral agent at that point because of how unwell they are.
Well, at that
for
point,
example, when somebody is like wait, excuse me,
Okay.
do you want the answer? Yeah,
Yeah,
when
go
someone is
ahead.
like so severely unwell, typically at that point we would say that they're like insane. And in that sense, right, like if it's to the extent that this person is like literally like genuinely crazy, well, I mean, in these instances, we typically say that that person didn't do anything wrong. They're just crazy.
Well,
That's
how do
why
we
the
make the
insanity plea
determination on who's
exists.
crazy or unwell? That's the thing that we're
That's
still
gonna
talking
come down
about.
to like, yeah, it's going to come
That's-
down to like certain psychological determinations.
It's the job of
We
a
do this all the
psychiatrist
time,
or a psychologist. It's not really a moral claim.
yeah.
Well, psychology and psychiatry is kind of a soft science, is it not? I mean,
Okay,
it's
I mean, you
something
might
we
make that
rely
claim,
on.
but this is unrelated to the claim that atheists can't have moral.
Yeah.
arguments, right?
It is very relevant.
Not
Because
really. I mean, do you not
only-
think that psychiatrists or psychologists can at least typically evaluate the mental well-being of somebody?
They can, but
Okay, then that's all
point
that's
is-
sufficient for the point that Ian's trying
That's
to make.
no, because most of
Yes,
the secularist
unfortunately.
argumentation for whether someone is unwell or something is immoral is that it doesn't align with my preferences. It's disgusting.
Yeah, then go find someone who's a moral subjectivist and argue with them. I'm sorry, that's just not who you're arguing with.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah,
That's not who I'm
I'm a
arguing.
moral realist. I think morals are objective. So in the instance when
Morals
someone is
cannot be
psychiatrically
objective.
crazy, then they lack the agency sufficient to have a right to freedom in the first place. Instead, what they have is a right to well-being, and we should just take care of them.
Morals cannot be objective in a secularist
Yeah, they
worldview.
can.
Well,
Of
you
course
keep
they
saying
can.
that, but Ian has just made the case that they are.
Yeah.
They can't. Ultimately,
They are.
all secularist and atheist worldviews fall to
You're just
the
saying, nuh-uh.
Yeah. You can affirm your conclusion as many times as you'd like, but I just demonstrated that there are. But, you know, because you've like short-circuited and gone into grandstanding mode, I'll actually demonstrate that your ethics are a preference. Why am I necessarily morally obligated to listen to what God tells me to do in your worldview?
Well, my claim really is that
Actually, before we get into punishing his worldview, just because I have a question, where in the Bible does it say that necrophilia is wrong?
right. I'm not a Christian. I've never
Okay.
read the Bible.
Where-
My claim
when
is
did God tell you that necrophilia is wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
That's even worse. Even less
the
defensible.
fact is that I've never even said that I am a theist. My point is that in order
Are you an atheist?
well, see, that's what I'm still thinking about. But my point is that in order for there to be a functioning society, there has to be some kind of belief in God or religion, because when we make our laws, right, there has to be some kind of metrics for morals.
Wait,
And
but you don't know
atheists
the
and
metrics for morals
secularists
unless you
don't have.
unless you have the belief, sorry, yeah, this person just keeps on joining. I don't know how the fuck they do this. I gotta
And a
talk to-
metrics for morals comes from a belief in a divine being.
but not unless that divine being has revealed specific commandments. So you would need to attach yourself to a particular religion.
Sure.
Which one?
Well, that's not my point here. The point is that
Yeah,
it's just-
yeah, you don't want
So
to
wait a
give
minute,
it to
Boris,
one.
you don't. So there isn't a way to establish which morals we should base our laws on. Then,
What do you mean?
well, you're saying that there has to be a way to. There has to be a religion to base our laws on, and you're like, and then we ask, well, which one? And you're like, I don't know. Well, so
Well, that's. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know, but the fact is, there should be one. Huh?
it doesn't seem like there should be. I mean, under any religious view, there's not really any obligation to actually listen to the moral teachings of that religion, right?
Yeah. Why ought I do what God tells me to do?
My point being is that
Do you think this is an answer to the question?
No, it's not. It's I'm
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
avoiding the
It's gonna
question
be,
because I
yeah, it's
don't know how
gonna
to
be dodge
answer
number
it.
2. Let's get try number 3.
Well, no, hold on. He
why
didn't dodge. He
ought?
just admitted it, which is fine.
Yeah. Why? Oh, wait, sorry. Say that again, Blitz. I'm like too busy. Like,
Yeah. So Boris just said, yeah, it's not it wasn't a dodge. Boris just said, yeah, I'm changing the topic because I don't know how to answer the question.
Okay, cool. So as long as we acknowledge that theist ethics are in fact just a preference, that the only possible way to have objective morals would be under atheism.
Well, no, because theist ethics are based in a supposedly divine being. Even if you're
Why
even
ought I
if you're
listen to
right,
that?
why ought you listen to the divine being?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it provides a metric for morals.
How? Why? I'm telling you that it doesn't do that.
Boris, you
Yeah.
should listen to me because I can provide a metric for morals.
Well, see, that would make sense, honestly, in a secularist worldview. But is that something should we do? Should
Well,
we listen to
that-
one particular person?
That's what you're suggesting we do. You're
Not
suggesting we just
exactly.
listen to one particular person. It's just that person happens to be God.
Well, it wouldn't be a person, though, would it?
But why
A
ought
being
I
with a
listen
mind.
to God?
The
Why,
belief-
why do I have a reason to listen to God? What reason do I have to do what God tells me to do?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer, and I can't. The
Yeah.
only way I could possibly answer that is because God provides the metrics for morals. That's really the only way I can answer something like that.
Wait, but that's the exact thing in question. I'm telling you that there's no reason why I ought listen to God.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. There's what I'm telling you is that there's no reason why I ought listen to God. If I don't care about what God says, I have no reason to listen to him.
Well, if you completely reject God and you completely reject any kind of moral for metrics, then nothing matters. Life
Well, what
is
I'm a-
meaningless.
What I'm asking you is
Why
let's say God exists.
should I
Let's say
accept
let's say
metrics for anything?
let's say I grant that God exists. Why ought I listen to him?
Why ought you listen to God
Yeah,
if
why?
he does exist?
Yeah, why ought I listen to him?
Well, in many religions, if you don't listen, then you'd be punished.
So you think that the ought derives from the punishment? What if I don't care about the punishment? Why ought I listen to God if I don't care about the punishment? Or is it just a preference? Do you need to prefer not to get punished?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know how to answer that question.
There isn't an answer to it, but yeah, sure. Okay, what do you want to talk about next?
Well, I guess I'll just make my conclusion. My conclusion is that secularists and atheists cannot make morals or moral claims or ethical claims because it is just based on aesthetical preferences, like, oh, that is disgusting, so we shouldn't allow that. Religion and God, or at least the belief in God, provides a metrics for morals in order to make logical laws for people.
Okay, I wish you would have established either of those things instead of conceding on both of them, but I appreciate you coming on over.
Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
Thanks for being here, Boris. We have some super chats.
Yeah.
From ambitious beasts. God, I can't read. From ambitious beasts with the $5. I believe the God in the Bible that mankind created isn't real. However, I believe there is a creator of all. Well, if you want to talk about it, feel free to come up and we can talk about it. From Colin Stalker with the £2 you guys are amazing. Love your lives. Oh, that's so sweet. From Unprof Trader with the $2, where can I watch you versus Big John Steele? Want to see it? I don't know if any of them are on YouTube. It's usually just been like spontaneous TikTok lives, at least for me. From Daniel Rathburn with the $20, thank you so much. I was going to write something deep about the absurdity of existence, but honestly, I just need an excuse to give you guys money. Keep roasting bad theology. Have a good day. Well, based. I'll take it. Absolutely will take it. From Solovino with the $5. Wow, Ian, your moral argument is fucking amazing. Where can I get more literature on this specific moral argument?
That's a great question. My moral argument comes from Alan Goworth. A great secondary piece of literature is Derek Belved's The Dialectical Necessity of Morality, or Alan Goworth's original book on it. I think it's called Reason and Morality. I'm sorry, I'm a bad Goworthian, although I am trying to. There are cases like that, like the one that the last guest brought up, that I think take like a bit too much maneuvering in the view. So what I'm trying to do, I think I'm trying to move towards like a moral realist, virtue ethicist view. Because virtue ethics, like the sky's the limit. You can just be whatever the fuck you want as a virtue ethicist. You can just, you know, you can hold any view. And then when someone's like, why do you hold this view? You're like, dude,
it's virtuous.
It's virtuous. That's just what virtue is. God, this is, but his, Alan Goworth's book is Reason and Morality. I think it's quite good. I like the argument a lot.
So
but I am.
Go ahead. So for what it's worth, so I don't take a moral realist position. And I think that there might be some issues with Goworth's argument. However, I think it's the only argument I've heard that even attempts to get around the is-ought divide. Mm-hmm. Because it implies that given that there are agents have normativity built into them, which is an interesting claim, and it's a clever way to get around is-ought. I'm just not convinced that all of the pieces of the argument actually fit together the way that we need them to. It's not to say it's impossible, but yeah, I'm not sold on it.
Yeah, I think I have similar. That's why I think virtue ethics, like a constructivist virtue ethics, that's similar to the Goworth stuff, that reasons from like the necessary commitments that all agents have towards like being virtuous. I think that makes a lot of sense, because I think that kind of the issue that I take with like Goworth's argument is that I think it's tenuous to try to universalize from like I think that you shouldn't fuck with my shit means that I think that I shouldn't fuck with your shit. Like, I think that that's like a tenuous bridge to gap. But if all you think is like, you know, I should be virtuous, then the fact that you treat others well just stems from you being virtuous. So I think that virtue ethics, because it only focuses on like the self, like becoming a good person, and then the fact that you treat others well is just like in virtue of being a good person. I feel like that might be able to get around it. But I don't know. I still have to read the book.
Okay. And then from L42 with the $3, just sent a fist bump. Thank you. And then from Anton A with the $2, sent nothing, but thank you nonetheless. Should we move on to our next guest, Potato?
Yep. How's it going? Yeah, let me get your audio situated.
By the way, if you're watching on TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're watching, make sure to follow along. We have, almost 700 people watching on TikTok or on YouTube, but only 4,500 subscribers and only 247 likes. And nice. On TikTok, there's only 32,000 likes, but there's 800 people watching. So, subscribe, like the live.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Hey,
ring the bell.
Hey.
Yeah. Are you a believer?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you believe in?
Christianity.
Sure. What's going to be your strongest argument or evidence for God's existence?
I think the rise and the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Sure, the resurrection. Do you acknowledge that the resurrection of Jesus Christ would be a violation of the laws of physics?
Why?
Because something that's been dead for 3 days, the cellular anatomy is going to be like super dead, super decayed at that point. It's not going to be the type of thing that you can reverse.
Why can't it? I mean, if it's like a physical thing, why can't it be like reverted back to its condition? Not like
so, Potato. If you think that it's according to the laws of physics possible, then it doesn't require a miracle to happen. It could just happen on its own. In which case, we would expect to see people rise from the dead all the time.
I think a miracle is kind of like a defiance of something that is there's two things. I think miracles, something either a very small chance to exist or something that is like impossible to do under the law that we have now. So I think there's two definitions of miracles.
Yeah, well, if it's impossible, then I'm not going to believe that Jesus rose from the dead, because that would be impossible.
I'm sorry, this thing distracting is very distracting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm doing what I can. Nobody on YouTube or TikTok can hear it because I would need to, in order for it to get heard, it would need to be put onto the track itself on YouTube, or on Streamlabs, and that's not going to happen. So.
And actually, if you don't kick them, each individual guest can just mute them.
Okay.
You can just turn their volume down, and then now you just can't hear them, and they'll just be screaming into the void.
And then I'll like rejoin.
Well, they won't know that they're muted, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Let's see there.
Yeah, so just mute them and it won't bother you. We have like 2 trolls who are wasting their Sunday morning, even though we're getting paid for it. So
yeah,
thanks. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys for filling the box. So Potato, so is it your view that Jesus's resurrection is possible given the laws of physics?
I mean, I can say it might be possible under the law of physics. Like if consciousness is like a product of.
So if it is possible, then we don't need a miracle for it, right?
I mean, I say there's like a 2 definition of miracle. I think there's something that is impossibly like small chance to exist, or it doesn't really make sense to exist, or like it's defy all the law of physics that we have.
So which one would you say that Jesus's miraculous resurrection is?
I think there is like a very small chance to exist.
So why haven't we seen it happen before? Or are you just saying it's so rare that it's only ever happened once?
I'm sorry, what? Can you repeat that?
Are you saying that the resurrection is so rare that it's only ever happened once?
Yeah.
So then what about when Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead? Would you say that was just another rare event? Same kind of rare event, but it's physically possible?
I might say that, but you can see that even though it's very small chance possible, we can manipulate it to make it possible, right?
You can't manipulate the laws of physics. That's what they're laws, right? They're not suggestions.
No, I mean, if we get, for example, get description of like before they are dying, and then after that, like we get an exact like quantum placement, I think, of someone before they're dying, like if down to their.
So it's actually, interestingly enough, there's something called the no cloning theorem, which prevents you from gathering complete information about a quantum system without destroying the quantum system.
Okay. Sorry, there's.
Anyway, Potato, you were saying?
Damn, this guy got the whole squad laughing.
Potato, can you hear us?
Yeah, right now I can. Finally. There's a bot attack.
Yeah, they are bots, that's true.
Man, sometimes some people get too much time.
They're about to rejoin again, by the way.
Yeah,
so
I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I need to talk to Justin about how to fix this.
Yeah.
So the point is that if you're making the claim that this is something that's very, very rare but possible, then we have astounding amounts of evidence that, in fact, it's not rare but possible. It's just impossible because it's never happened again. Now, if you're making the claim that, oh, we have some mechanism by which we know it can happen, therefore we have reason to think it's rare but not impossible, well, then you should provide that mechanism.
No,
let me give you an example. There's a thing called proton decay, which is this hypothetical idea that was popular in the 80s and 90s, that if you waited long enough, a proton, that thing in the nucleus of an atom, a proton would decay eventually. And so people looked for a long time, and after years and years of building very, very expensive experiments, they came to the conclusion that, well, if it does decay, then it decays very, very rarely. Now, the only reason why they even thought that it might happen was because they had good theoretical justification. They had a good proposed mechanism by which it would happen. And they're like, okay, well, if this mechanism is true, then we would expect that it has a small probability. So we would expect to not have seen it yet. But unless you can give me a mechanism that would lead me to expect that this thing is truly possible and not just impossible, truly possible but rare, well, then it seems like, given the data that we have, that this is claimed to have only ever happened once, maybe twice, it seems like we should just assume that it's not possible and that those events didn't occur.
I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, you're the professor of physics, so I don't really know.
This is not a professor of physics.
I'm not.
You think this guy is
How
employed?
dare you? Well, considering, I mean, I have income.
Yeah. No,
That's employed.
I mean, you have. I think you
I have a PhD in physics. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I heard that once that you have a PhD in physics. I think from Planet Peterson's stream. I think. Yeah.
Maybe I haven't talked with him in like over a year.
Yeah, but I heard it. But
But anyway, so the point is that it seems like we have just tons of data to think that this is not something that's possible. And if it's not possible, then why would we think it happened?
Because I think like there's the eyewitness evidence of it.
But what's more likely? That somebody misremembered or lied? Because that's possible. Or something impossible happening.
I mean, yeah, like you can see, but the problem is like it's not happening. Then why there's so many people that say it? I mean, we don't have like one.
It could be that simultaneously all of their brains had quantum fluctuations that made them have false beliefs, and that would be more likely than something impossible happening.
Yeah, like literally anything that's like possible at all is going to be more likely than the impossible.
Hold up, wait a minute. The Elliot argument guy is in chat. Hold up. Is he really? He should join the box.
He's never going to debate me. He will never.
I know, he's been avoiding me for like 6 months.
Never debate me.
Dude is afraid, but apparently he's in chat.
Well,
anyway, Potato, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because like, at least coming from somebody who takes seriously things like the laws of physics, who thinks that these are like unbreakable universal principles, if you will, saying that Jesus rose from the dead is like saying that magic exists. Like, if you want to believe that, I guess, but it doesn't seem like we have any reason to.
Yeah, I think I should maybe talk to Justin more about about historical evidence. But because I don't really think that I can defend it from physics point of view, because like miracles is something that defy physics. Like, so I don't, not just physics.
But then you have no reason to think that the miracle happened because there's so much evidence for physics.
Yeah, but
hold on. We're getting bot spammed right now. 1 sec. For everybody who's watching, that's why the conversation stopped. But we're still, people are still sending super chats. So, if you guys want the bot spam to stop, send us super chats every time it happens. And then they'll be like, well, we don't want to fund these guys. And then they'll stop. Anyway, Potato, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, you could talk to Justin about this. I'm sure that he'd be interested in having the combo, but...
yeah, I mean, also, like, why do you think this is... I'm sorry, I'm going to mute this for a bit.
Representing good Christianity is what bots do.
I mean, sorry. I still hear these people.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying my best.
My stomach is rumbling.
Okay, I think that...
I muted them all on my end.
Oh, wait,
Potato.
do you have the power to?
No, I just mute that. Like, I can mute you. And just like, it just turns down your volume for me.
I mean, but why do you think it's like the... oh my god. It's still I guess
No,
so.
it's happened again.
Anyway.
God damn it.
They're just saying butt eating, which is really funny.
No, it
It's
just
like,
it just what he's saying. What are you doing? But with Indian accent.
I hear them saying Mike Burgundy. Maybe I'll reach out to him.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's their trolls. But anyway, so yeah, Potato. They've been. It wasn't just you that they've been doing like they might just be Indian trolls, like people actually from India,
Yeah,
because they've been using that kind of voice for a while. Anyway, so
so about the consciousness, I think the consciousness, like the world is created by something that is not
the world is created by what now?
something that is unconscious. You say that a universe
Well,
is
look, I don't have a good understanding of like even what consciousness is. I know it's like I know we can say it's the thing that I have and that I experience, but like I don't think anybody has a really good definition of like what this is. So
yeah, it's going to be like a semantic, but
the trouble is if you're trying to define, if you're trying to say like, oh well, where did consciousness come from? Well, you have to give me a good definition of what consciousness is, right? And like that, like I don't think anybody has that.
But I think the basic definition can be like alive and aware. Don't you agree?
Aware? I mean, like I
Alive
guess,
and
but like, could you say that like a computer is those things? Like, what does it mean
It's
to be
gonna happen
aware?
again, sorry.
I mean,
For some reason, they're all already muted for me.
yeah, I didn't hear it.
I'm not hearing them at all.
Yeah.
They haven't started.
No, they're muted.
Or maybe they are not muted, but they don't have voice.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So as like, I mean, you could make perhaps a compelling argument for consciousness, but like, I'm just not. Like, I don't know. I don't think that anybody has any idea what consciousness even is. So like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, Potato, is there anything else you want to talk about, or should we just move on to the next guest?
Yeah.
Sorry that this group of trolls has been trolling. I know it's frustrating.
No problem. But what do you think if there's something a miracle happened? What do you think a good proof would be?
If a miracle happened, I don't know what kind of evidence you would need to overturn the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what kind of evidence would do that.
Yeah.
Like it seems like
Oh, sorry. If miracle happened, I think like I don't really think we can like analyze it with science. Would you agree?
Well, no, but my point is that a miracle is supposed to be something that, at least in the standard interpretation, is supposed to be something that is impossible, right? It's impossible according to the laws of physics, right?
Yes.
And
So-
if that's the case, then that means that the laws of physics are just suggestions of physics. If there is something that can break them.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So the problem is that we should have the way we evaluate the likelihood of what you're describing of like a miracle, the way that we would go about evaluating whether or not this happened, we would evaluate our prior probability, our prior knowledge, and our prior knowledge tells us that a dude rising from the dead after 3 days is not the kind of thing that happens. So any evidence that you put forward for that event happening would just be going against like the catastrophic amount of evidence that we have that the laws of physics hold universally.
okay,
Like
but
it's all the evidence of every single instance of the law of any law of physics ever happening ever against, I don't know, like some dubious eyewitness testimony that's been transmitted through like a game of telephone from 2000 years ago. Like it's already not good evidence, and then it's going to be weighed against like really good evidence. Probably the strongest possible evidence is what you're weighing like some historical game of telephone against.
But would you find it like kind of interesting, like the miracle that is happening, not only just the rise and resurrection of Jesus Christ, but also like the other miracle, like turning water into wine and multiplication.
Oh, I suspect that
It's
those things didn't
something
happen.
that-
That's my point.
But it's kind of curious. Like it's something that is even like people in the first century will believe it not go. It cannot happen.
People in the first century believed that magic was real. They didn't believe that miracles were like breaking universal principles. Like they thought that like sorcerers existed and witches should be burned, right?
Yeah, but the evidence of it usually is something that cannot be explained, or they don't understand it. But usually something they don't understand, so they just attribute it to God. But this is something that is people understand that it cannot happen, turning water into wine like instantly, and then like
Well,
people.
I don't think that they understood that it couldn't happen. I think that they understood. I think that, and I'm speculating here, but I suspect that the ancient people understood miracles or magic to be things that don't usually happen.
I mean, I feel like the
So,
outlying of witchcraft doesn't really make sense otherwise.
Oh,
They probably did believe in supernatural things.
witchcraft.
I mean, like there were laws on the books to punish witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
But but after seeing like some evidence, like in the witch trial, what is it, like the one that where they burned the witches? I think the one.
Well, I'm talking about like ancient, like there were like ancient laws, like ancient Babylonian laws, for example, about like witchcraft being illegal.
Yeah, there's a possibility of it. I cannot deny it.
Yeah, so it's in the Code of Hammurabi.
Yeah.
It lays out how you can punish or how you can determine whether or not a person has been, whether they should. It lays out how a person should be determined to be a witch or not. And one of the ways is you throw them in the river, and if they drown, then the person who accused them of being a witch wins. And if they don't drown, then they're not a witch.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Well, that's what the ancient Babylonians did,
Wait, but
because
let's not
they
get too
believed that witchcraft was
sidetracked.
real.
I don't want to get sidetracked though, right? So I don't know. I'm inclined to think that the argument for miracles is always going to fail just on the grounds that it would be a violation of the laws of physics. My prior is that the laws of physics are true. Like I just have way stronger priors that the laws of physics are true. So I just don't think that there's like, I don't even know, right? If you presented me as good of evidence for the resurrection as there are for the laws of physics being true, at that point it would just be a wash and I would be agnostic. Like you would somehow need to present better evidence for the resurrection than there are for the laws of physics, and I just don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean it's something that happened like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
We have like some evidence about it, but I don't really think like this is something that has happened in the past, but we don't really know.
Yeah. So yeah, for that reason, I would find it like really hard to believe in something of that sort. But do you have anything else?
What about the modern miracles? Like for example, people who have like miraculously something happened to them.
It's going to be the exact same problem. The evidence that the laws of physics are true and universal is just way stronger than any evidence that a miracle occurred. You would need to demonstrate that there's more evidence for some miracle than there is for the laws of physics themselves, that the miracle would be a violation of.
I mean, there's. Yeah, but if the law of physics yeah, it's something that's strong and robust. But if something breaks the law of physics, then that means that it's going to become a new science, new law of physics, but not miracle.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's possible. It's absolutely possible that there exists laws of physics that we're not familiar with, or that things that we think of as laws of physics are actually just approximations of like true, more fundamental laws of physics. But when Ian and I are referring to the laws of physics, we're not referring to like, the things that we think about today. We're referring to whatever are the fundamental guiding principles, fundamental physical guiding principles of our universe. Now,
in descriptive.
So whatever those might be, either miracles violate them, in which case we have no reason to think that they're true, or they don't violate them, in which case we have reason to think that that it should happen on the regular. And if it doesn't happen on the regular, then we're at least justified in thinking that it's impossible.
Kind of the problem with like arguments from miracles is this. The argument goes something like, you know, this event happened, there's this law of physics, this event is a violation of this law of the laws of physics. But this law being a law, this like thing being a law of physics is in tension with something being a violation of that. All the evidence that something is a law of physics is going to be evidence against the miracle happening. And all of the evidence for the miracle happening is evidence against that thing being a law of physics. So the argument just can't get off the ground. It's self-defeating.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I don't really understand.
So, the way claims of miracles work is that you claim that there's like some sort of violation of the laws of physics. The problem is that all of the evidence for the laws of physics are evidence against the occurrence of miracles, and all of the evidence for the occurrence of miracles would be evidence that that thing is just not a law of physics. So the argument is just self-defeating.
Okay.
But we've been talking for a while, so I appreciate you coming on up, but I'm going to move to the next one.
Before we do that, I should read super chats.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for being here, Potato. So we got a lot of super chats. You guys really buckled in, and the spammers have stopped. But that's good. So from Gary with the £5 British, what happens after this existence according to the Bible? Is it possible that we are supposed to learn and grow during this existence? My understanding is that there's heaven or hell, right? So make of that what you will. From Edward Day with the $2, the Elliot argument guy is in the chat. Yeah, I'm sure he is. He'll never join. He's a coward. From ZM with the $5, you guys are hosting and battling bots at the same time. I feel like this is hard mode of a video game. It kind of is. Mostly for Ian, because Ian is the one who has mod powers right now.
Yeah.
From Colin Stalker with the £5 British, a gift to stop the bots. Guys, you're clearly rattling the Christians. Keep up the amazing lives. I don't even know if they were Christian, but they were definitely upset. From Edward Day with the $5, have you guys or Justin had a chat with Jaron from Christ Before Jesus? Love what you do. My favorite deconstruction lives. Have you, Ian?
I don't know who that is.
Me neither. So no. From Fear's interaction with the $10, your atheist morality is putting a serious damper on Operation Stone My Neighbor for doing yard work yesterday. Yeah, I feel that. Oh shit, it's Witsits in chat. That's fun. Daniel Rathburn with the $5 says, so if she weighs as much as a duck, she's made of wood and therefore she's a witch. Exactly. I mean, although you did get it backwards, it's only if she weighs as much as a duck and therefore floats, then she's not a witch. That's what the Code of Hammurabi says. And then from Mr. Tree with the $2.
As much as a duck?
No, it says if they float, but ducks float. So if she weighs as much of it as a duck, then she'll float. It's from Monty Python. You don't get the reference because you don't know pop culture. It's fine.
I don't. That's true.
From Mr. Tree 69 with the $2, can you say God is not real for an edit? Ian, would you like to do the honors?
God. Oh no. Sorry. God is not real.
Oh, hey, the bots are back, y'all.
Yeah.
From Ms. Interpretations with the $2, the chat needs a little help. Spammers may be slow. I mean, if the chat needs help, then I don't know. Can we institute a slow on moderation activity? Is this a thing that we can do? Oh, community moderation. Yeah, I can institute a slow really quick. Yeah, let me put on a slow really quick. I don't know how to put a slow in. Anybody know how to do this? Moderation. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Sorry, y'all. But I'll be paying attention to chat and handling moderation, and we have some other moderators as well. Anyway, so do you want to bring up who was it? Apologetic. What was his name?
Yeah, if I I have like
you have a job to do, if you will.
Yeah, one sec. I'm like trying to. Where the fuck even is it? Where's the sound even coming from this one? I can't find this one bot.
Who knows?
Damn. All right, let's bring the next one on up. We're
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
go to Apologetic Zealot. How's it going? Apologetic Zealot? Are you there?
Apologetic Zealot, you there?
We cannot hear you, Apologetic Zealot.
You are unhearable.
Okay, maybe well, you might need to refresh the page and select a different microphone. Hello?
Oh, we can hear you.
Hear you.
Great, we can hear you. How's it going? Oh, apparently chat can't hear him. So TikTok can't hear you, Apologetic Zealot.
let me
Ian, you
fix
might have to
that.
fix this.
Okay, wait. Keep on talking.
I can hear you, but I don't know if TikTok
Why is this
can.
not
I'll let you know.
working?
Sorry about that. I think we have two bot farms attacking.
No, I think they're the same one.
Sure. So, I don't know. TikTok, can you guys hear Apologetic Zealot?
No. TikTok can't hear him because they need to be like copied and pasted into it. Only we can hear him.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
wait,
sure.
I don't
But
even know. Wait, can people even hear you?
I don't think so. Ian, you're not able to get him into the audio?
No, for some reason I can't. Why not?
That's weird.
Wait, can you might just need to refresh. We'll bring you right up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gosh, I do wish I wish the Elliot argument would debate me because he's like an
Me too.
absolute sued. His argument against infinite regress is like dog shit terrible. It's just like obviously wrong.
I haven't even heard his argument. I went up onto his live once and I'm like, hey, can you give me your argument? I just want to hear it. And he's like, no, debate me at Yale. We can hear you, but TikTok probably can't. I agree. Yeah, so so TikTok still can't hear you.
What I have no idea why. It's so weird.
Mysticism.
Sorry,
we'll
we're getting
leave
like
it up to
spammed
that.
by bots. This is abysmal.
But look, so oh wait, can you guys hear the guest?
Radio check. I can't see.
Because somebody said that. Oh, we can hear you now. Great. Okay, so yeah, we want to follow up on the logical argument. Ian, if you just want to handle the bots, I'll talk to Apologetic until they stop.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to silence us, because, you know, that's hilarious. So, you believe in God. What's the argument? Oh, no sound on YouTube?
No, that's where I came from.
Oh, no, they can hear you on YouTube. Okay, yeah. Okay, anyway. So, what would you say is like your best argument for the existence of a God?
My best argument for myself as an individual is my own personal experience. The fact that life is more than matter and energy. It's more than just the material.
So,
the second
when you say,
best argument is
just before we move on, I just want to address that. So when you say your personal experience, I can absolutely grant that you had a very compelling personal experience, but how did that
kind of experience?
Sure. So I can grant that you had that experience, but how is that supposed to compel anybody else?
It can't unless you know me as a person and know that I don't bullcrap about stuff, and you know my past, because
No, but you could be mistaken,
people
right?
that know me, I could be mistaken until I actually look at the circumstances, what led up to it, and stimuli and all that stuff, and the kind of person I am. What I mean by that, for example, especially in the military, growing up, I did psychedelics, not like fucking at 13 years old, you know. Of course, before my brain was fully developed, my prefrontal cortex, but I did psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, I became sensitive to this unfathomable realm, for lack of better words, right? I'm not saying that psychedelics and acid takes you to a realm. That's not my claim. I'm saying that in the way that if you meditate and focus on your framework, you are more sensitive to the constant sensations of atoms vibrating throughout your body. Because no, never mind. I'm not going to get into the science of all that, but
so look, all I'm saying is that it seems like that. I mean, you took some psychedelics, fine. You had certain experiences. I would think that it's very hard to. I would think that it's very hard to. I think it would be very hard to distinguish between.
To conclude my point.
Go ahead.
I get it, but to quickly conclude my point, it's the fact that I've seen what psychedelics looks like, and I've also interacted with paranoid schizophrenics. So I can cross-reference my experience with my Christ consciousness moment, because no psychedelic I've ever taken gave me that experience.
Apologetic. Look,
okay, I'm done.
Look, so is there a way to distinguish between you had an experience that was completely created by your own mind and you had an experience that was created by something external from your mind? Is there a way to distinguish between those two?
I don't think, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't think you can point at anything outside of shared experiences with others on this plane of existence, because a common theme with interconnectedness is that, interconnectedness. So people share weird things when you hear like weird stories about DMT and all that jazz. But again, this is just my personal argument. You can tear this apart all day, and I'll never. Well,
it's just not. Personal arguments are just wildly unconvincing to anybody who didn't have that experience.
Exactly, but that is why I believe.
So what? And I did give for I did ask for an argument that would convince us. The most compelling argument that you can think of that would do that.
Okay, yeah, but that's why I was said argument number 2. But then you said, let's tackle the personal convictions.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
Moving on. The second one is just the eyewitness testimonies, the documents, the martyrs, all the general evidence that people bring up. And then the third one is my observations of the world, seeing good and evil and understanding that there is such thing as good and evil.
Yeah, wait, let's do one. Well, let's do one at a time. So in terms of like the eyewitness testimonies, what's more likely, that the laws of physics got violated, or like whatever evidence you have, or that like I don't know, like some conjunction.
Yeah.
of-
So
of
what I say to that
explanations.
is,
Wait, I'm quiet. Wait, what? Huh?
I can hear you just fine.
What?
I heard you.
Yeah,
too.
it says you're really quiet on TikTok.
What?
Who knows?
I have no
Sorry.
idea why that's the
Well,
case.
to that-
Wait, what about now? Is it still?
It's
Is
not
it
fine to me.
okay?
Okay, I think
have
we're
no
good. I think
idea.
we're good. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. In regards to the laws of physics, I don't think they were broken because you got to think about the nature of God. This isn't some old man in the sky. This is an incomprehensible being. Okay, so let's look at. Okay, there's like a bunch of prefaces, but I'm just going to get to the meat of it. Okay, so a way that God shows his nature in the Bible through one of the stories of Moses. And I will say, I'm not the most versed in the Bible. I'm versed in theology. You know, I'm a seeker, as it were, but I'm still reading the New Testament, and then I'm going to go to the Old Testament, but blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Moses, right? God commands Moses for reasons to command a rock to split open and pour out water, or something along the lines of that. Again, I'm not versed, don't quote me. Okay, it's just the message that I'm getting at. However, Moses disobeying God was like,
Violation of
I'm
the
not
laws
going
of
to.
physics.
Okay, cool. So anyway, Moses was like, for I don't know, whatever reason, he's like, I'm not going to do it, God. He was frustrated or something. So he hit the rock with the staff, and then water came out, like after it cracked open. And you'll say, oh, so what, the rocks like turned into water or something? And it's not so much that there was a chemical reaction through this and that, thus water came out, or that the laws of physics were broken. It's the fact that since God has full domain over space and time, he can feed events into our dimension. One way a godless person can try to comprehend God is that they are on a different dimension. And here's a funny, quick little tangent that I thought of recently to explain the Big
let's
Bang
just talk about
Theory.
what you just said.
Okay,
So
I'm
it
sorry.
sounds like-
I'm a tangent guy.
It sounds like what you just said is that wait, sorry. It's the bot spam.
Take your time.
1 sec.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
lock in.
But-
So, oh yeah, sure. I mean, the implication that I take from this is that the laws of physics don't even exist, right? If you're just saying like God can just like violate them willy-nilly, then the implication that I take from that is that there are no laws of physics.
He's not violating them. You're misunderstanding my point. He's not violating laws of physics.
Then what is he doing?
He's feeding an event into our plane of existence. And the way that someone could
So,
copy
wait, I
and
just can't hear
paste
you
a
at all.
text from
Like
a
the-
computer.
Oh, sorry, I muted all of them.
So you got to think of.
Look.
You can't
Okay,
think
so
about God as a mortal being. Okay, sorry. I'll let you-
one of the laws of physics is something like, if we're talking at like a classical scale, you might say like matter is conserved, right? At a classical scale, a quantum scale, we can get into that, but you might say that like mass is conserved or matter is conserved, whatever you want to say. And so if you're just saying like he can just pop stuff into existence, well, he'd be breaking that law. He'd be showing that law isn't always true in this universe.
It's his sandbox. It's his sandbox.
Then that just means that the law is a suggestion, that it doesn't always apply.
It's not a suggestion because laws of physics are the way they are for a reason, because we have a God of logic. So you're like, okay, if I add these numbers, I can get some kind of exponent, and then I can fly in space, and at the moon, these same principles will apply. Because God, so to just quickly wrap up the point I was making about the whole science and all that shit, is that is one way that God beckons us. Is he wants that's one thing that separates Christianity from other religions, is that we're not only allowed to question, but we are kind of not obligated, but incentivized to seek and be like, hey God, what's up with this? Because through that, okay, I'm getting I'm getting preachy. So scientists, right? So back when we were knuckle draggers or just not educated, we're like, wow, what is existence? Cheese, atoms, they're just a bunch of little cheeses, like that kind of stuff. So as we look into science, we see that it's almost like it's designed. And if it's designed, what would it be designed by? A God, a creator, a conscience being, not just a concept of love and truth and everyone's nice to each other, but an actual thing making decisions.
But
incomprehensible, by the way.
I don't understand how this addresses the point that like if something is a universally true principle,
guy, so I probably fucked up.
If something is universally true, then that means that if it's ever violated, then it's not universally true.
So my perspective, God is universally true. So
I'm talking about the laws of physics.
Why could God not, like when Moses split open the rock, what is preventing God, the creator of this realm, that
we're evaluating whether or not this thing happened in the
event
first
of
place.
water in there.
So,
It's like, so let me get to this here. So here, this is why God speaks in parables or in analogies.
Sorry, apologetic. Just
like, hey,
sorry, I just need to make an announcement.
Like,
apologetic. By the way, if somebody joins and somehow turns off their mic, we are going to kick you. We're going to mute you. We're not going to talk to you. If you turn on your own mic, we don't want to talk to you. Go ahead, apologetic.
That's based. So feeding events. I don't know. I got distracted by that, but did I answer someone's question? Did y'all hear what I said? Because again, no sleep, energy drinks. I did smoke a little bit this morning. I'm not gonna count.
The question is, we're trying to establish how likely it is that such a thing happened in the first place, right?
It's about as likely as God wants it to be, because there's a big plan.
But that's assuming the thing exists that you're trying to prove with the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
So the way we evaluate new claims is with our pre-existing evidence. So if I told you that I hovered around the room and it was like breathing fire, so you would probably not believe me because of your prior knowledge. You have prior knowledge that that sort of thing just doesn't happen. So likewise, we have prior knowledge that what you're claiming just doesn't happen. It's about to happen. The mic spam is about to happen again.
Yeah, I hear that. I get your point. I think the best way for me to explain this is that analogy that I was considering to bring up earlier. So one way that I consider the Big Bang Theory to be possible, or like look at the start of the universe, the Big Bang Theory, which in a godless view, if that's pretty miraculous, you know what I'm saying? But I digress.
Well, it's not miraculous, not if we have explanations for how it happened, right?
That nothing became everything?
That's not what the Big Bang is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can talk more about that. But anyway, I digress. So what I'm thinking, or like a thought came to me so God works in a nature that is not like us mortals. It rhymes. We're made in God's image, so there's similarities. So in the same way that there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we have our consciousness, our flesh, and our spirit. You know what I'm saying? So we were made in the image of God.
I'm sorry. How is this addressing the complaint about miracles?
So you have to understand that God is not like us mortals, so he works in different ways. So consider him on a different plane of existence: the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the seventh dimension. I don't care.
Yeah, if he exists, certainly. Yeah, we would certainly.
So try to put yourself in the perspective. Put yourself in the perspective.
You're trying to say, well, if he exists, then all of these things, then it makes sense.
Please, brother.
You can't start off by saying, look, we don't think that God exists. So before you can start saying, well, if God exists, then it makes sense.
Because I'm trying to explain the nature of how he works.
You're trying to say
we can understand this
laws
whole
of physics
thing.
If God exists.
No. Look, I didn't forget the whole physics thing. Let me just finish. So anyway, think from the perspective of God, if you even can, an incomprehensible being that's on a different dimension.
I'm a dog.
Interesting thought. So could the Big Bang Theory have happened to where God makes the third dimension, right? It's empty, and then he just does a little cut in space time, and
Like we
Well,
want
I'm
an
just-
argument
I'm just-
for God existing, not like to better understand
just
how the universe would work if God existed.
Yeah.
Like we're familiar with
I'm-
the theology.
Yeah, this is all speculation. This is all speculation. So
Wait,
God
we
works
want
in ways
evidence. We want an argument.
can't. God works in ways that we can't. Okay, just ask me the question because low key running on empty. I've been yapping. So fucking the whole laws of physics thing. I don't think he's violating the laws of physics because it's his computer, it's his domain, it's his sandbox. He can put in a little tractor if
He can break the rules, is what you're saying. He can add something in that breaks the rules that he
he's
set.
breaking the rules. It's that he has a plan, and that in order for this plan to be enactuated, these things happen.
Okay, so then what you're saying is that it's actually according to the laws of physics, according to the rules that he set out at the very beginning. It's according to the laws of physics that these happen. Okay, so which laws of physics makes this happen?
Yeah.
How does it work? What's the mechanism?
If there is an uncreated creator, he can most certainly control his domain without limits.
That's what.
No, I'm
my
asking
logic.
what's the physical mechanism, right?
The physical mechanism is that God is outside and unaffected by our dimensional constraints. So he
What do you
can
think,
literally
when we
feed
say
in
physical mechanism, what do you
events.
think is being asked for? What do you think is being requested of you when Dr. Blitz asks you for the physical mechanism?
I'm saying he feeds in an event. That's my answer, is that he feeds in the
What
event.
no. What do you think Dr. Blitz is asking you for? Like, what is this category of thing, physical mechanism? What do you think Dr. Blitz is asking you for?
He's asking did a meteor strike that was carrying water in the rock, and then people misunderstood that physical thing happening as some kind of miracle. So then we just make up God, and we have this amazing.
Yeah, that would be one type of physical mechanism for why the rock split, right?
Yeah, but God doesn't have to work in our.
But then
mortal
it's
ways.
just not a.
Again,
then
I'm not
it
saying
does
he's
violate the
breaking
physical
laws of
laws.
physics.
That's what it means.
He's feeding an event. I'm trying to explain this in mortal terms, and again, I'm trying to explain an incomprehensible being, an uncreated creator. So he feeds in events. That's my point. We can fucking look into what that means on our own time, but would we like to move on to anything else? That's my answer. That's my best explanation with my, circumstances considered. So,
Sorry, one more time.
Yeah. So my arguments for God is that I look at the world. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Fucking. And then the resurrection of Christ. The Bible is true because Christ confirms it. Eyewitness testimonies, manifestations, the prophecies, all that stuff. If you actually
explain to you why we
humbly
don't grant any of
seek
this.
God,
stating the conclusion that we've already refuted, I just don't know what you think that's gonna do.
we can move on to the prophecies because that's another. Because there's a bunch of different reasons I believe in God. So it's not just one thing I can point at of personally, yeah, I can, but to compel others, I can just talk theology. And if you can't humble yourself and be like, you know what, I'm not in charge of my own destiny, or actually you low-key are because free will, but there's something more than just matter and energy and the self. There's something bigger than you, bigger than yourself. But be it pride, ego, or whatever the fuck, some people just can't.
Well,
and if you look at the Bible, the way God talks, it's explained
right.
all this stuff.
It's just kind of a strange claim about our psychology. I don't think that that's a particularly compelling argument.
What was my claim about our psychology?
About how about we just can't humble ourselves or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm being general, of course, but that is a pattern that I notice. Like for my brother, for instance, he's agnostic. And that's also another point that I want to bring up is that you can't claim and 100% say, I know for a fact there is no God. Because
can you claim that you know with 100% certainty that there is a God?
I put my faith in Christ. I trust what Christ says.
Can you answer the question?
Yeah, yes or no?
Yeah, I 100% believe that there is a God because
then we can do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also kind of the nature of this whole thing. It's not like God's going to make. It's not like God is going to make a way.
We have bigger fish to fry. I appreciate you coming up. Let's go on to the next one.
All right, Whatsit, you're up.
Hey, how's it going, Witsit? Let me get your audio situated.
Oh, let me read some super chats while you do that. So, what do we have? We have lots of super chats. You guys are great. From Unhinged Serpent with the 5 British pounds. If God's love demands worship or hell, it's not love, it's control. Free will is meaningless when the price of honesty is eternal torture. That's a fair point. Yeah, that's called abuse. From Judas with the $5, bought D's. True. From Judas again with the $2, a bunch of geese. And then with the $2 again with some stop bot emojis. And with the $2 again, Judas, so kind. We have no sound on YouTube. Well, I think that's been fixed. From Nectu with the $5 for the love of philosophy and science and those who defend it. Nectu, you're so generous to us. Really, honestly.
Wait,
from Judas again.
Does this make my mic better? Is it like getting blown the fuck out now, or like what's?
You sound great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
From Judas again, keep doing God's work. And then again, don't forget to hydrate and eat some potassium. Yes, potassium is in bananas and you should eat it. And then again with, wow, Judas is like super, super generous today. So Judas sent a lot of messages. I'll just read all of them. Don't forget to hydrate and eat some potassium. If something could prove God, why are churches not trap houses? I think that was the word that starts with D and ends with rugs. And then from Judas again, the puddle saying this hole was made for me. Some emojis should have been killing the bots. Absolutely. I agree, Judas. Thank you. Judas sent like probably like $30 in the form of $2 super chat. So thank you. And then also we have I am the cheese. There's no distinguishing qualifier that makes psychedelic experience more compelling than just psychosis delusions. That's a fair point. Witsit actually sent $2. Pull a brother up. Well, you got your desire, right? We got $10 from I am the cheese again. God told Moses to hit a rock to get water in Exodus 17. In Numbers 20, God said, ask the rock for water. Moses made a mistake and hit the rock because it was cool first time, but God punished Moses by forcing him to die in the desert. Yeah. Gretchen with the $3 says, this is just cruel now to the chat. Yeah, a little bit. And then Piyush Bhatia with the 200, I want to say that's Indian rupees. What are your guys' thoughts on Hinduism? Would love to hear a detailed take if you're open to sharing it. I'm just not so knowledgeable about it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for the long delay, but we got to do what we got to do. Witsit, how's it going?
We can't hear you.
Yeah,
you might need to refresh and select your mic.
Yeah. You have to be in YouTube live studio and click the little edit button.
Hello? Yep. Let me get your audio situated.
Nice. By the way, your audio is way better now because you were really quiet before you changed whatever you did.
Oh, okay. Wait. I think say more words.
The world.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, cool. Yeah. What do you believe in?
I believe in a God. The question is, the claim is there is no God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know why people always defer to like invoking the Bible and stuff like that, but this is my argument. I think it's one of the strongest arguments for God. So if you we'll just look at thermodynamics. So we have like the first law. Because if I'm going to say there is no God, I'm like, it's kind of like a naturalist position or atheistic position, whatever, right? You have different versions of naturalism, but so look at natural law. Matter and energy can't be created nor destroyed, right? So we obviously know that there's matter and energy here. So if we just ask the question, well, how did all the matter and energy in the universe get here? Right? Fundamental question. One option is it was placed here. It was created, right? We would exclude that as a naturalist because it can't be created. So we could say it was always here. Then we look at the second law, though, right? And we know that the system's always going to seek equilibrium, and the amount of usable energy is going to decrease due to that process, right? And
in a closed system where there exists Cauchy hypersurfaces, there's some caveats, but sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so it's kind of like, well, no, I'm not going to like appeal to specific authorities, but I could read a few quotes out. We could talk about the substance of the quotes, right? But we have like Eddington, for example, or Stephen Hawking famously said, it was long disputed if there was a beginning, right? Is the universe forever? and we now know definitively that it cannot be because of the second law of thermodynamics, and the amount of usable energy will decrease. If the amount of usable energy is decreasing, well, that's to decrease from a beginning point, and then he compared it, he used the analogy of human progression, of course, having a beginning point. And he said
that doesn't really follow, though. Suppose for a moment that the amount of usable energy decreases. Suppose that we accept that that's true. You could have an infinite amount of usable energy from the beginning and have it always existed and always be decreasing and always maintain an infinite amount of usable energy, right?
No. You could have an
Why not?
You could have an infinite amount of usable energy.
Sure. Why not?
No.
Why not?
That's not, because that's just a concept that's not real at all. Infinite. So
if your universe is infinitely large and it's filled with matter, then you would expect to have an infinite amount of usable energy.
No. You're decreasing from infinite. And this is what I do like to point out, because
it's decreasing infinitely. If it starts unbounded and then it stays unbounded, even though it's decreasing, it'll never be zero.
Decreasing infinitely is literally paradoxical. It's just ironic because atheists love to talk about infinite regressions. And I want to point out how this conversation is always framed as the theist is the crazy one that just believes in unfounded things. But every time I bring this argument up, the atheist starts just appealing to possibilities baselessly. And
well, if you're going to make absolute claims, then you have to exclude the possibilities, right?
Yeah, let's get clear on like the dialectic here. You're saying necessarily God exists because necessarily there needs to be a creator. Necessarily is equivalent to it's not possible that the opposite is the case, right? It couldn't be both, that it's possible for the opposite to happen, but also necessary for this to happen. So kind of the problem with that is that then it becomes your burden to demonstrate impossibility. Our burden is just to demonstrate possibility if you're making a claim about a necessary being that necessarily created.
Okay, so you've now tried to frame my claim or whatever to quickly get away from the claim that you're saying there isn't a God. But the issue is that claiming there isn't a God, or even claiming agnosticism, this is another typical trip done by atheists. They'll be like, oh, I'm atheist agnostic. So I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not convinced. There's no evidence, right? As if they don't have a burden. But if you claim you're agnostic, it's intrinsically claiming that it is possible this place could exist without God. So
yeah,
right. But this is the issue. We're not just going to skate past. He invoked infinite. You don't decrease from infinite.
Sure, you can. If you have just to be clear, it's entirely mathematically sound to talk about this notion. Now, it might be hard conceptually, but if you're going to make the claim that like this is not possible and like there's no issue in our understanding of the universe that this is like a thing that could be the case, then I don't know. You're going to have to make a stronger argument than just
our understanding. And then you said it's just mathematically sound.
The way that we understand the universe is through mathematics. It's through things like equations, equations of motion. Yeah, sure. Math is abstract. Sure.
We can all hear that. I'm just making.
Yeah. This is the bot spam that we were talking about earlier. If you were,
I didn't want to like me to hear it and you guys not hear it.
Yeah, no. It's the best way is just mute every person on your end. And
I'm curious if you guys are pushing. Oh, how do you do
that? You can just click on them and then you should see that they're
individually,
like their individual volume.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll stop in a minute. But yeah, so the point is that like the way that scientists understand the world around us.
They can't hear it on YouTube and stuff.
No, they can't hear it. No, nobody else can hear it.
Yeah, the viewers can't hear it.
It's just way too many. I'm not.
Yeah, we'll give you a sec. It's very annoying. I agree.
No, I'm sorry. I'm Oh yeah, I probably could.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm like I don't know. I'm like hunting these bots down.
Okay.
I'm like fucking Blade Runner.
This is so lame. Who does stuff like that?
Yeah, I do apologize. I wish that.
Oh, it's not your fault, I guess, but
I almost wish that. I'm like low key considering like maybe we just get like a Discord lobby or something.
I was thinking about that. If this becomes an issue, we can consider it if it keeps being an issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to quickly read this quote, see what you guys think, right? So this is Stephen Hawking. He said, the argument about whether or not the universe had a beginning persisted into the 19th and 20th centuries. It was conducted mainly on the basis of theology and philosophy with little consideration of observational evidence. This may have been reasonable given the notoriously unreliable character of cosmological observations until fairly recently, The cosmologist Sir Arthur Eddington once said, "Don't worry if your theory doesn't agree with the observations because they're probably wrong. But if your theory disagrees with the second law of thermodynamics, it is in bad trouble. In fact, the theory that the universe has existed forever is in serious difficulty with the second law of thermodynamics. The second law states that disorder always increases with time. Like the argument about human progress, it indicates that there must have been a beginning."
Yeah, so I think that it's just incorrect, and it's an old quote, so it's fine. He's allowed to be incorrect about things. There are plenty of working models that are consistent with all known laws of physics that like we can derive. The second law is a derivable law of physics, by the way. It's consistent with all of these things, and it's consistent. These models are consistent with observations, and they have things like entropy reversals, or they have infinite total entropy to begin with, or they have things like entropy dispersals.
What does that mean, brother?
It means that it's unbounded, that it's larger than any finite number.
So to be an atheist, I have to believe that the real universe and real physical reality has something that's merely a mathematical construct called infinite.
Well, entropy is a mathematical construct. You understand that, right?
It's going to happen again.
Well, entropy, though, we mathematically describe an actual phenomena.
What actually is entropy?
Well, you know, this is what I knew would happen is it'll be like let's debate entropy in isolated systems and try to veer away from. And this is what I'm curious about. Do you know the implications? Would you say, like in good faith, would you say, oh well, if you can't invoke infinite right now, then the conclusion does in fact require a god?
No, I actually have constructed a model myself that's consistent. Well, it's a toy model, so it's like approximately consistent with observations that doesn't have infinite entropy, and it has an entropic reversal.
So it has a beginning. Oh, okay, wait.
And it doesn't have a beginning.
Right, because you just said entropic reversal. So right, okay. So if the amount of usable energy decreases, are you just
no? It increases. It increases in the second half of the cycle.
Okay, so you're invoking like an infinite exchange, basically like the idea of the collapse and expansion.
Yep, it's a model that does exactly that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which it's actually consistent with Hawking's view about the arrow of time, right? In fact, I wrote the paper specifically to investigate whether or not Hawking's view of the arrow of time is true.
Okay, yeah, but it's just like it's like a try to get out of jail card to say like, it flips and reverses. Trust me, bro. Right?
So in the model, that was a consequence of the model. It wasn't something put in by hand.
That doesn't matter. I don't like. I have seen a model of Superman flying.
No. So this is a mathematical model,
in
right?
Actual physical reality.
Can you?
Because before I jumped on, we were all about the laws of physics, and we were all about actual physics.
The models that I presented are consistent with the laws of physics. Yeah, the point that you've brought up.
Is it possible? Is this a possibility?
No,
is the model that I've constructed a possible description of the universe?
Your burden is to actually substantiate the physical possibility of your claim, as it would be to substantiate the infinite.
Yeah, and so I have. I think
this is what I think. Honestly, this is what always happens. Atheists don't even want audiences to hear the implications.
I think the weird thing is, like Christians, or not even Christians,
if there's a beginning to the universe?
Theists get folded on their point, and then they have to grandstand and appeal to the audience in hopes that nobody realizes like how badly it just
what's happened here is he invoked infinite and then said
it's our burden to demonstrate
my model. So the model
is possible.
Infinite
so
isn't
real.
Infinite isn't real.
That's a claim that you could. That's a claim that you need to demonstrate. And second, the model that I constructed doesn't have infinite anything.
I don't care about your model. Demonstrate that infinite's real.
So I don't even need to invoke infinity in order to have this get out of jail free, right? I don't know. I don't need to invoke it. I have a model that doesn't require it.
So okay. The audience doesn't hear that there's like chaos going here, but
I can't hear any of them. Do you hear them?
Oh no. yeah. But there's so many. Like I can't. This is the issue. You're immediately deflecting away. So you do have two claims on the table. That's cool, right? And so you're saying that you have a model that's basically, for the audience doesn't know, it's just basically like it invokes an infinite exchange of energy in the universe. Basically, saying
nothing infinite about it. It's totally finite.
It never ends, right? But you initially claimed, because I made the simple point, right, which is that if the amount of usable energy, and we can keep it very simple, people always try to make the second law like it's mystical or something. It's not. Systems seek equilibrium. In order for a system to seek equilibrium, it uses energy to do that. It requires energy to actually go through the process of seeking equilibrium. Since the whole universe has matter and energy and all systems are seeking equilibrium, and there's energy being used in the universe at all times while it's seeking equilibrium, that means the amount of usable energy is decreasing. So the argument,
to be clear, seeking equilibrium doesn't cost energy. You're talking maybe free energy is the technical term, enthalpy.
You're saying a system can seek equilibrium without using energy?
It doesn't cost energy to seek equilibrium.
Can you give me one example of a process?
Well, no, it's just a mistake. Like if you have a gas, for example, if you have a gas in a box, right, and you put all of the gas in one corner of the box, it doesn't cost energy in order for it to fill the box, right?
Cost energy. It
doesn't use energy to do that.
Begins to fill the box, it's using energy, right?
So, no, it's not. It's not using energy. No, it just it has the kinetic energy. It just spreads out.
It's so funny because they can't hear it, so I guess they probably hear that they're like, I'm getting stumped or something. So
when you do stuff like that, right?
How about this? I'm gonna try to just act like I can't hear them, and I'm gonna say it. Let me just say the argument and get to the conclusion, which is so. I guess because this is an important one. Are you guys saying that if there was a beginning to the universe, that that's an issue for the idea that there is no creator? Because
I can answer. If by beginning of the universe, if you mean that there was ever a state where nothing existed, then yeah, that would be a problem. But I don't think that there's a problem with saying that there can be a first moment of time. That it doesn't necessarily require a creator.
I didn't hear the very beginning.
Yeah, so if you're suggesting that there was a state of affairs of the universe where nothing existed, and then there was a state of affairs where something existed, that might be a problem. But I don't think that that's necessarily implied by there being a first moment of time.
Okay, so when we look at if matter and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? If we just ask the simple question, how did the matter and energy get here? And that's basically asking the question, how the universe get here, which is basically, is there a God? Is there some type of creative force, whatever, right? So it's all the same question, basically. And so it's like, okay, how did the matter and energy get here? How did the universe get here? So one is it was placed here, right, from something outside of the universe, or it was created. Then that's why, to avoid that one, that answer, you would say, oh, it's always been here.
Well, no,
could you offer like another viable option?
Yeah.
Would you consider that a false dichotomy?
Yes, it's a false dichotomy.
You offer it.
Yeah, so you can have an eternal timeless state. I shouldn't use the word eternal. You can have a timeless state that in some sense, and it's hard to describe what I mean here, but there's a technical sense that it makes sense. A timeless state that in some sense precedes the first moment of time. And in that case, there never was nothing. The matter never popped into existence because it was always there. It just existed timelessly. In which case, you can still have a first moment of time. That would be the moment where time begins, if you will. That was just preceded by something that was timeless. And that doesn't really pose any issues.
I mean, honest, like I can't. I'm trying to mute all these people. I just can't hear you right there.
Wait, that's so interesting. Because I feel like
they're like loading in. I'm not even hearing them.
Yeah, me neither.
I just hear like frantic moaning in the background for the audience to know, right? It's just like
yeah. So go ahead and mute them, and I'll re-explain.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Alternatively, I wonder if there's. Do we just go like the Discord route?
I mean, you could.
What we could do if you'd prefer.
There's no way to make it where like they can't come off mute until you give them perms.
Well, that's the way it is. But there's like some sort of like exploit in Video Ninja, where like technically savvy people can just like get around that and join unmuted, and especially someone who's like technically savvy enough to like create like 20-30 bots at the exact same time via like some sort of script. This person is going to have no problem.
Well, he can hear us though. Like, bro, you're super lame, bro. Like, you got to get a girlfriend, or you got to like do something, bro.
I agree.
But yeah, if you want, we could just move to a Discord, and then Ian, you could pull in the chat from Discord, and we could just keep our video up here. What's it? Is that fine with you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
If you guys have me or anything, is there a chat in here you could drop?
I'll drop my Discord.
Well, they're just gonna
link
come
if you'd
wherever
like.
you drop. What's up?
No, don't do that, Ian.
Yeah, I don't know if you have Telegram or I don't know, however you guys want to mess.
What's it? I think I have you on Discord, don't I?
Okay. Yeah, probably actually. We've talked on there, huh?
Yeah. Where do you want us to do you want to go to? Do you have like a private channel on your Discord server, Ian?
Maybe. Hold on. Molly, do we have a private Discord channel that we could do? We could just
I have
like
one.
give like a role.
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let me send this to, I'll send this to Ian, and then I'll send it over to Whitset as well. And I will join.
Yeah.
It should be locked.
I don't see myself.
Oh, there you are. There. I cannot wait to get
permissions.
out of this room, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so
sorry
sorry
about
about this.
I'm just gonna leave right now.
I mean, it's fine. We'll just be able to continue doing what we're doing.
A certain room.
Oh wait, should I
it should be
join
the
like?
should be the private room.
I'm just gonna casual.
Oh, I'll just drag you up. There you
Yeah,
go.
please.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm in activate one.
Yep. 1 sec. All right. We should be good.
Let me I would need to fix my mic settings.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to resituate everything.
Okay. I guess I'll just have voice. You guys are using camera another way, maybe.
Perhaps all I will need to do is resituate my mic, and then I'll keep my camera.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right way to go. And then you guys can hear me through Discord, I think. And then our audio will be here. We're extra
Okay,
loud.
cool. And so then I'll just be just audio, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool.
Sorry, I'm loud.
Cool.
I'm so loud.
So yeah, no, Discord's always the move though. Discord's the best, man. You guys let me know if you're good, if you want to continue.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get the audio working. All right.
No rush.
No. The Discord is private. Y'all can't join. Okay, we can hear you. Audio's not great, but we can hear you. We're loud also, so. Phone users. Yeah, I can hear you. I imagine Witsit can hear you.
Yep.
Not able to be heard. Okay, now I'm able to be heard. Okay, wait, we got this.
Okay, I think we're good.
Are we good?
Yeah, are we good?
Chat, are we good everywhere? Is there anywhere we're not good? Okay, wait.
So
Apparently,
I'm loud, but I can just turn down my own volume. Is that better?
Wait. Yeah. Oh, wait. Although, because in principle, what I need to do is turn this down. Wait, Blitz. Turn your volume back up and say more words.
I'm saying more words now.
Okay. Audience, is this good?
Good. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I can just lower my gain a bit. Okay.
Okay. Wait, it's good. It's good now. Okay. So it's good on TikTok. YouTube. Is it good on YouTube?
I think it's good on YouTube. All good on YouTube. Yep. Okay, we're
perfect.
good. So, you were saying, what's it?
Yeah. Well, just like, okay, so my general position here, right, is so the first law, matter cannot be created, matter energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So you just ask the question, oh, okay, how did it get here? One option is it was placed here or it was created, right, which is an issue because then we're gonna have to invoke something beyond, the natural law. And then we can say, well, it's always been here. So we don't really have that problem. And then you were saying you didn't think it was a true dichotomy, and I didn't hear what you said.
Yes. Yeah. So, right. So there's kind of three options. There is a true dichotomy that either there was a state where nothing existed, or there wasn't a state where nothing existed. That's a true dichotomy. But that's not the same true dichotomy as there was never a first moment of time, or there was a first moment of time. Right. You could have it be the case that there was never nothing, but also there was a first moment of time.
Sure, right. Well, I mean, for one, nothing doesn't exist, and time is kind of a concept that we have, right? I mean,
well, no, I mean, like, even if you can accept that nothing can exist, or even if you can accept a sense in which there was nothing, like, there is a sense in which you can have a timeless universe that transitions to be timeful, and then you have a first moment of time while still not having creation of anything.
Well, like, okay, I would take contingent with that, really, to be honest. I'd rather try to be as good faith as possible here for intents and purposes or whatever, but like timeless, like time's just a concept. And this is kind of, and to actually invoke Henri Poincaré, who came up with 4D space geometry, right? That was integrated into relativity by Einstein. He said, it's not us that impose space and time on the universe, or it's not the universe that imposes space and time on us, but rather we impose it on the universe. And they're just conceptual abstractions, but this is
that's a debate you can have, I guess.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Like, I'll grant it for intents and purposes, kind of, right? Because we could dispute that, right? I mean, time and space are both just concepts, and space is actually the idea of nothingness. But this is kind of a basic concept. I do want to point out that normally this conversation is approached with a huge double standard, right? Which is like, if someone's like, oh, well, you know, I believe in God, and here's how I describe him and stuff. And this all of a sudden, this could be the case, is not permissible. But when it comes to atheism, you can just appeal to any vague possibility and it's permissible. And then the conversation is spun around where it's like, well, if you're claiming that there had to be a God, then all I have to do is just say words, you know. And I kind of disagree with that, right? I think it's fundamental.
Well, this is like, I would love to do like some dialectical analysis of this. If you are making an argument where the conclusion is therefore God exists, for example, what you're doing right now, you're giving the cosmological argument. If you're giving some sort of cosmological argument that is of that sort, then it's your burden to demonstrate that all other possibilities besides God are impossibilities, that God is the only option. Otherwise, it's not a deductive argument. Alternatively, you know, if we were trying to deductively establish that God doesn't exist, which, by the way, I'm happy to do, but if we were doing that, then we would need to rule out the possibility of anything, of God existing at all in any possible way. So when you make the argument to try to establish God's existence, you do take the burden of proof to rule out all possibilities. So if we can prove that it's possible that the universe, I don't know, like that Dr. Blitz's model is coherent, or the universe always existed, or whatever, if we can prove that it's possible that God doesn't exist, then that means that the cosmological argument fails. Does that make sense?
Oh, I definitely understand what you're saying, but this is where normally what does happen, right, is we kind of get scattergun, because I actually agree with you in a fundamental sense, which is if someone's saying this universe, like the necessary antecedent, right, to existence is a creator or a God, then all you have to do is show that isn't true, right? And like, I totally grant that. That's cool. So what'll happen is usually, right, not saying you guys are doing a poison a well or anything, but like, atheists just randomly start grasping at anything and everything. And that started to happen a little bit earlier. We can go step by step, because like for one, whenever infinite was invoked, for example, well, it's like, once I started to push back on that specificity, the burden was shifted to me that I need to prove somehow infinite doesn't exist. And then it was quickly we deflected over to a separate argument, because really the atheist is just in a desperate attempt or search for anything that they can appeal to as a possibility. And so I just want to make it very clear that we can all agree on this. Whatever possibility is invoked, the atheist has the burden of proof to actually substantiate that possibility.
Yeah, so to substantiate that it's consistent with everything that we know. And it absolutely is the case that you can describe that there is nothing inconsistent about an infinitely large universe. There's nothing inconsistent with a finite entropy density in an infinitely large universe. And if you then added up the total entropy of the whole universe with a finite entropy density in the universe and an infinitely large universe, then you end up with an infinite amount of entropy. That's just the case. There's nothing inconsistent there. And so the way that you rule out the possibility of something, the way that you establish that something is possible, is show that it's consistent with everything that we know. Consistent with, like the things that we fundamentally treat as, possible.
We know nothing as infinite, right? Like, infinite is not consistent with anything that we know. It is merely a mathematical concept. But the audience is basically saying, like, does this caller even have an argument? Like,
well, I'm sorry,
can you guys give me like 120 seconds to unpack like my argument?
Do you think numbers exist?
They are a concept that we've come up with.
But do they exist?
Abstractly.
Sure, abstractly they exist, but they have like ontology, right?
Yeah, they're abstract.
Yeah. How many?
How many?
Yeah.
Good question. Because it's literally a language that we created.
Oh, wait. So it sounds like you're saying that they're
Nominalism?
not. So I'm getting kind of mixed signals. So you're saying that they exist abstractly, in like a Platonic sense, but then you're also saying that they're like nominalist?
Well, this see, you guys are having the issue of actually now invoking it as real physical reality, right? So I would never say,
No.
hey, the number 5 is physical reality. That's absolutely insane.
neither
It
would
absolutely
we.
is not that. And if we had chosen to count things differently,
But as
then
abstract
they would just
objects,
be
you
different.
think they exist?
Abstract objects. Abstracts are ideas, right? So no. We use abstracts to describe objects or items. And this is what I'm saying. This is called a reification fallacy or concreteness fallacy, misplaced concreteness. So you're taking an abstraction and then attribute physical properties to it. You're doing that to infinite. You're
No,
actually
I don't
saying
think numbers have
infinite.
physical properties. That's not true. I think
Well,
that
if you're
numbers
claiming that
exist abstractly.
Right. Okay. To describe something that exists physically.
Well, I think 2 plus 2 equals 4 was true even before any human existed or any mind existed. I think the underlying categories necessitate the truth of it. I'm a Platonist about numbers. I think that they exist.
2
and
plus
I think
2
that there's
equals
infinite of them.
2 plus 2 equals 4 is entirely useless unless there's 2 of something to add to 2 of something else, right? Like they don't exist in some like other alternative realm that's actual and real other than the fact that we abstractly created them. Like, but what would be cool
Well,
is if
maybe
I
we
can
could
just,
think about it like
because
this
there's like,
way. You know, let's say in like a base reality, let's say there's like nothing in reality. Well, in this nothing reality, there would be reality itself, so that would be one thing. Well, and then there's one thing, so now we have numbers, that's 2 things, you know. We have 2 things, that's a fact, that's 3 things. And if we have facts, then we have truth, that's 4 things. So, you know, if we added this all up, it would be 4 things. So there's a necessary existence to things like numbers.
no, numbers are strictly abstract. But
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
just because I am happy to take any opposition argument, right? But I want to just like coherently lay out the argument real quick, if that's cool. It
Sure.
won't take that long.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this is okay. So the first law: matter and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and so people typically say it can only be transferred. So okay, if we're gonna ask the question, how did the matter and energy in the universe get here? Right. Well, one, it could have been created and put here, but that would defy the law. So as a naturalist, right, or an atheist, I would say, okay, well, it's just always been here, you know? And it's like, okay, whatever, we can grant that. I would actually say that's a true dichotomy. And then if we go over to the next part of it, the second law, right, and then we know that entropy is going to increase. I mean, people will say stay the same or increase, but it can't decrease. And that the amount of usable energy is going to decrease. And so like Stephen Hawking said, right? And that's not just some random guy, and not that it's true because he said it, but it's just funny that we, you know, all of a sudden he's retarded. But
Wait, you can't say that.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna,
Okay.
it's,
Can't say that on
yeah.
My bad.
Damn, rip stream.
If only time was real, I could go back.
Fellas, join the YouTube when the stream gets taken down.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I can do about it. No, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay,
I won't
it's
do it
okay.
again.
There's nothing to do. Just keep on going.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so second law of thermodynamics, the amount of usable energy is going to decrease, right? Like Hawking said. And so if the amount of usable energy in the universe is decreasing, right, then it's decreasing from a point. It can't decrease from infinite. It can't decrease infinitely.
That's an assertion.
Wait, just let me finish the argument. You can dispute it, right? But like, it's in my opinion, obviously an asinine claim, but this is similar to infinite regression. It can't decrease forever, and it can't decrease from infinite, right? Like it's decreasing from a beginning point, and he compares this to human progression. If you're going to claim that humans are progressing, or say like evolution, well, you obviously have to have a beginning point to evolve from or to progress from, right? So if it's decreasing from a starting point. So that denotes a beginning. So now if we go back to our first question, how did matter and energy get here? We can no longer claim that it was just always here. So now we're only left with, it was created. And then this is the conclusion. And I'm ready to hear any rebuttal, right? But this is the conclusion. Now we go back to the first question, which was a true dichotomy. So now we have like, it was placed here, it was created. Or maybe you take contention with the word created or whatever. But now we need something that is outside of natural law, right? So it would be attributed to a force that's beyond the laws of nature, which is by definition supernatural, right? Beyond nature. So now we need something external to the physical universe, seemingly eternal, right? Pre-existent and supernatural.
So wait, look,
final statement. Yeah, but you just, I mean, it's just the conclusion, right? It's like, so then
we know what the conclusion is. So you need something supernatural.
The question is, right? Okay. what is the antecedent? So we need something supernatural. The question is, what is the antecedent to creation?
Okay, yeah, so I take issue with your understanding of the second law of thermodynamics. You can, in fact, the second law of thermodynamics is known in some systems to not hold. B, you still haven't given a good reason to explain why we can't have an infinite amount of entropy in an infinitely large universe. You've just kind of said that, that's just not real. And C, even given that the universe is infinite and the entropy density is infinite, you can still have an eternally decreasing entropy so long as the rate at which entropy is decreasing is asymptotic to some value. There's no issues with any of those things.
Okay. You baselessly asserting the conclusion as if it's true doesn't make it true, right? So
what conclusion did I baselessly assert? I just pointed out your misunderstandings of
you said there's no issue with any of those things, and one of those things was that it could just be infinite. That isn't how.
Yeah, what's the issue with it? What's the issue with it?
No, you need to substantiate that.
Well, it's mathematically consistent, right? It's mathematically consistent, so that that's at least a consistency check. Now, if you have an issue with it being mathematically consistent, that's burdens on you for that. If you think that just because something's mathematically consistent doesn't mean that it's physically possible, burdens on you to demonstrate that.
No. You agree the question's about real physical reality. We're talking about the real physical universe. You guys are
and we're wondering about what's
and
possible.
Naturalist, and the claim is that nothing exists outside of the natural world. And all of a sudden, we're going all the way to strictly abstract to defend.
The point is that you're making an assertion that it is impossible for entropy to always be decreasing and not have a beginning. And I've given you 3 possible coherent ways that you could not have a beginning while still having entropy always be decreasing.
Yeah, your argument is necessarily God. The implication of necessarily God is necessarily not any of the models that Blitz is citing, which means that if you're asserting
in the physical world with infinite
normalization.
Expand how there's
so in QFT, the way that we handle because actual infinites pop up in QFT, and the way that we handle it is with a process called renormalization, and then that gives good predictions. You basically take infinity, subtract off another infinity, and you get a finite answer.
Okay. So
it works.
Dude, do you not see, respectfully, I consider this, and this isn't a personal attack at all, I'm saying this is my opinion, this is like a plague of the mind that we've kind of all it's been normalized, where math is conflated to physical reality. I can conceive, no, an actual physical phenomena, because for example, if I have 2 apples, I can count them.
You're moving the goalpost. That wasn't the question. You said, give me something in actual physical reality that is accurately described by the infinite, and I just gave you one.
No, you didn't. You said
this is physical. There's a part of physical reality. We call them quantum fields, if you will. Or maybe you don't think quantum fields exist. We call them particles, electrons. These are things that you can just measure. And these things are accurately described by mathematics that involves infinities.
That involves infinities as you immediately subtract it from the initial of infinity. Right?
Yeah. So do you agree that subtracting infinity from infinity is a totally valid and real thing in our universe?
No.
Oh, okay, but then you're just moving the goalpost again. The point is that you asked for an example of something being described by infinity, or in this case, now we're talking about infinity subtracted from infinity, and I gave you an example of that, and you said, well, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count because now you're
what?
It just doesn't work.
Just keep on shifting the burden.
By the way, I have just so you know, I have a hard cutoff in 4 minutes. Or Ian can keep going, but I do have to go because I have a show I'm going to.
I just want to make this is a really simple point, Blitz. Okay, infinity doesn't actually exist. So math is very beneficial. So if I have 4 apples, let me just say real quick. I'll take 15 seconds. If I have 4 apples, I can say, okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. Look, I can properly address or describe that physical reality because now I can tangibly, empirically verify it is in fact physical reality with the apples. And yes, math describes it, but math is just an abstract. You're saying that I'm going to use infinity, subtract infinity from infinity, therefore infinity is real, so therefore the real physical universe was infinite.
Do you think moments in time exist?
No, I said it's possible.
What'd you say?
Do you think moments in time exist?
No.
No, you don't think time exists?
No, time is abstract.
Do you think that places exist?
Time is abstract?
It literally is, bro.
Do places exist?
It's a conceptual quantification of passing.
Do places exist?
Actual physical matter exists that we describe as locations. Yeah.
Do locations exist? Can you be at different locations?
Yes. Yeah.
How many? How many different locations can you be at?
At the same time?
No, just at any given time. How many possible locations can you be at?
How many
It
locations
depends
are
on
there?
how you. This is the issue. It depends on how you describe location. This is basically conflating the
asking
word
you.
tree with the actual physical tree.
Whatever you
right? So-
said when you agreed that location exists, whatever you mean by that, how many of those are there?
it's dependent upon the application and definition
Your
of the
definition.
abstraction called location,
Your definition. How
which is a
many are there?
language. And we
Wait,
can change
location is an
languages, by the
abstraction
way.
now?
Yeah, it's a language, and just like math's a language. So you don't see what you're doing. You're conflating the word used to describe physical
Your
reality with the physical
definition.
reality
Your
itself.
definition. How many are there in your definition
My definition.
of location? Yeah. How many locations are there?
It's just depending on what you're classifying as
Your
location. So either
your
you can say city is a
definition. Whatever
location, or a
you
town's
said
a
you believe
location,
in
or
locations. You think locations exist. How many? How
I
many
believe that
spatial
physical
locations are
matter
there?
exists.
Do you
And
think
then
this
we
is an answer to my
arbitrarily
question?
call certain volumes of that matter
Do you
a
think this is an
location.
answer to my question?
No, you're actually trying to make me
What do you think the
define
question
your
is?
claim for you.
I
That's
asked
what you're
you,
doing.
do you think that like spatial locations exist? Or Blitz asked that. So you
No,
think
no.
spatial
I think the
locations
matter
exist?
that is described with spatial location exists.
But wait, you don't think spatial locations exist?
The matter that's being described does exist. The location, an idea of a location is just an idea.
I don't know.
How
So
about you define
don't
location?
think that
You define it.
you don't think space exists? You don't think that's a thing?
Space is a concept. It's actually a conceptual privation, right? So we use length, width, breadth. It's a mathematical description of dimensionality. It's literally just
If
a
what
concept.
it takes to be a theist is to deny the existence of time and space, why would anyone ever want to be a
Now you're
theist?
posturing. Now you're just posturing and trying
You
to poison the
think
well,
time and
right?
space
Because that's
aren't
all that
real,
atheists can do.
right? Like that's
Like,
sad.
You're
I
just
don't know.
posturing
Like,
and
don't you
poisoning the
feel?
well,
Doesn't
right?
that like
Like,
tug on you? Like, isn't that just like an obvious absurdity in your
can
head?
you actually address the point
Yeah, I'm not
that
going
I
to
made?
believe that time and space don't exist. That's silly.
Okay, well, check this out. Check this out. Space is just a concept, right? I'll give you an example. If I have a car in a garage and my garage is a certain
I gotta cut off.
size,
So you guys can keep going.
Alright.
You guys can stay in here. I gotta run
Sounds
though.
good.
so like, look, the car's in the garage. When I take the car out, now the car's not in there. What the car was within, right, is just air. If we were to take all the air out, what's there? What's
Do
left?
you exist?
See, you're not even engaging in a
Where do
thing.
you exist?
Well, it depends on what you mean by you. If you mean my
That-
physical body,
well,
right
it
here.
depends what
If you mean the
by
actual,
you. Are you?
Yeah,
you got,
exactly.
Are you doing your
Because
best Jordan Peterson
and it's
impression?
funny.
Are
It's
you
funny
related?
because a second ago we could just appeal to the possibility
well,
of infinite.
well, I just don't
words.
know what it means by you. I just don't know who I am.
Well, no, I was actually expanding specifically.
you
If you mean the actual
exist?
physical, if you mean the physical body,
Person.
then I exist right here. Depends on what
Where?
you mean. If you mean something deeper than that, which I'm assuming you as a
Where?
naturalist wouldn't, right? Which would be like my mind or the metaphysical component of my
Where?
being, then that would be different, right? I wouldn't actually be limited to Cartesian coordinates or
Yeah, but where do you
spatial,
exist?
dimensions. What's up?
Where do you exist?
So you're just like trolling. This is bad faith. This is super bad faith.
Oh no, he doesn't have an answer. It's the question is really obvious.
I
It's
just
really
answered
easy.
it.
It's just where do you exist? The answer is obviously well right here. And then the follow-up
I
question
said
is
that.
how many places
said,
could you exist? How many places could you exist?
what do you mean by places? Wherever
Just
I'm at,
locations, right?
I don't
Whatever.
know, however many,
whatever you mean
many.
when you say
Here's
where,
this
like
is
the
you just totally
here-ness.
lost, and you
How
think you're
many? How many
winning.
places could be described as here?
Check this. Wait, how many places could you exist? And what you're fishing for is the answer infinite. Unfortunately for you, that isn't the answer. So, okay, how
What
many
is the
places
answer?
could
You're
I
just
exist?
embarrassing
Well, I
yourself.
could take the size
Every
of my
time you have to
body.
bite the bullets and say like
You
I
see what
don't
you're doing? You
exist.
see
I'm
what
not
you're-
sure that I exist. I might not exist.
No,
You're
you
just
had to-
embarrassing
That's why you're
yourself.
having to
You're
cut me
embarrassing
off
your
and then
position.
straw man what I'm saying because you're about to get dunked on.
I'm just trying to get
You
clear
can
on
foul
this.
Jordan, but he still gets to go to the line, right? Like if you kick me, you just lose. So it's like,
I'm not gonna kick
okay,
you.
you can take the size
Why
of
would I
my
kick you?
body,
You're
and then
getting
you can take the
slammed.
the total finite volume and then divide it, and that's the answer.
And how many times could you divide it?
You just deflected. So who's being disingenuous and bad faith
The
now? You just
question on the
entirely
table is how many
deflected.
times could you divide it? That's going to be dodge number one. So let's get try number two. How many times could you slice it up? Or how many times could you divide it?
Why are you deflecting?
It's It's going to be dodge number 2. Let's get try number 3 on the board.
Projecting as he
many
dodges away from the
times-
fact that I
how
dunked
many
on him and showed it was a
times could you
finite
divide your
answer to
body?
how many places you
How
could be
many
when he was looking for
times?
infinite, and he's just
Dodge
not going to be able
number
to catch
4.
up.
Let's get try number, or that's dodge number 3. Let's
And
get
this is
try
this
number
is
4
what's
on the board.
frustrating about people like
How
you, right?
many
Is because you
times
know
could
that
you
your
divide up
audience
your
will
body?
actually
How many
act like,
times? Just answer.
dude, you're dodging
It's
my
really
point.
easy. Just answer. How many times could you
You're
divide
dodging
up
my
your
point.
body?
What?
How many times could you divide up your body?
Whatever the finite total is of the most microscopic cut you could make.
Why should I think that there is
with
a
my total
microscopic
body
cut?
volume divided by that.
Wait, so what's the most microscopic cut? Could you divide this in half? What's half of the most microscopic cut?
How can you take half of? How can you cut it in half if you can't cut any smaller than that?
Why should I think that you can't cut any smaller than that?
Why should you think that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? You live in a fantasy world while
Which
claiming to be a
word did I say
naturalist.
that was confusing for you?
Why your point is so
should
inept
I
that
think
it's confusing that you
You're confused with
possess
the
the
question, why
capability
should
to
I
say
think
it with
that?
illusory confidence. my
I
guy.
just want to know why I should believe that there's some point
Someone
that I
says
couldn't
stop deflecting
divide
from his
earlier.
question. What did I deflect from? He's trolling you? Yeah, because he's not capable of actually debating
He's
me.
talking to the audience because he can't talk to me. I don't even know what word to reach for. He got slammed too hard in the conversation, which is why he's coping with the audience.
Didn't happen at all, though. What actually happened, you keep
can't
talking
answer the
through me.
question.
There
Why
it is
should I
again.
think-
There's it is again.
Why should I
You know
think
you're
that
winning an
there's a
argument when you
point
have to
that you can't
incessantly
divide
interrupt and
earlier?
attempt to censor the other guy.
What I'm doing is making sure we stay on track. You want to ramble, you want to go all over the place, you want to short circuit and run your script. Why should I think
No,
that
I'm not
there's a
even
point
getting
that you
2-3
can't
words out
subdivide?
without you interrupting,
I just want
actually.
an
So you're
answer.
lying.
I don't want tears. I
You're
just want an
you're a
answer.
liar.
Nobody cares about
That's
your
crazy.
tears.
I'm
Nobody
shocked
cares
that you're
about
a
your
liar.
whining. Nobody cares about your shock.
watch this.
Everyone
You're
just
gonna
wants
interrupt
an
me.
answer to the question. Just answer the substance. Stop
That's what I'm saying. This is the
dodging.
problem with the internet.
You got
People like
blown
you
out on
get
the
to act like you're
substance, you
so
got blown out on
tough
the
in this
rhetoric, and now
real,
all
like,
there's left to
fantasy
do is
world.
complain about the conversation, right? I'd complain about
can't
the
even say
conversation
words,
too.
you
If I
retard.
got slammed on the substance, slammed on the rhetoric, I'd be pretty upset too.
Dude, if even your own people are like, wow, you're melting down. You're not even letting me speak. So what you're trying to do is fish for the word infinite. Unfortunately for you, all of your attempts to do so are actually finite. So it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. So the next question is going to be the same question I already asked you. Why should I believe that there's a point in space that I couldn't subdivide in half?
Why should you believe it?
Yeah.
Well, a point in space is merely conceptual.
So could
That's
you
why.
divide that in half?
No.
No, you can't. So is it?
What,
Is there some
wait. You mean
distance that it
physically
takes up?
divide it? Wait, time out. Hey,
Does it take
important
up
distinction.
space?
Physically divide it or merely abstractly divide
Abstractly divide it. Yeah, I'm a Platonist.
it? Irrelevant, non sequitur, red herring, because we're talking about the physical
Well,
universe and how
you know,
you're an atheist
straw
and think
man,
there is no God.
to
Try to keep up.
quoque,
Try to keep up.
straw man, gish gallop. Maybe if you say more debate words, they'll start meaning something. You know, maybe
You
you'll
just
stumble
deflected
upon
with the red
like
herring.
a correct accusation. You know.
Actually, it's accurately described would be a non sequitur.
Oh, which
Right.
one? Which part of it? It's actually.
The fact
I
that
can.
you
I can
keep on- you
formalize the
keep on
argument
it-
if you'd like.
No, let me help you. This
Oh,
is a
okay,
question
yeah.
about physical reality.
What do you think
This is
a
a question about
non
physical
sequitur
reality.
is?
You're claiming that the physical reality can exist without a
Please don't know.
God. And then when we go to examine that claim in physical reality, the only thing that you can bring up is abstractions that
I'm a
are not
Platonist.
physical reality.
Well, I'm a Platonist. I think that there are infinities, and in fact, in physical reality, you know, you don't think space exists. I think space does exist. You know, I think that there's infinite spatial locations.
But knowing the fact that you think something due to ineptitude doesn't actually win an argument substantiated with logical reason.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we could just do this like really easily. So I have this line on a paper. What we'll do, we'll cut it in half. You know, we now have this line on this paper. It's cut in half. It's a bit hard to see, but you know, then we'll subdivide the next half. You know, we've cut it in half once more. And then we can just keep doing this infinitely, which means that there's infinite points on this line.
No, there's not infinite points on the
There are.
line.
How many are there then?
The fact that I don't know the finite answer because it's dependent upon how small you can draw right now is literally irrelevant to the fact that infinity doesn't exist.
It's gonna be dodge number 1. Let's get try.
Oh, you're
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like lagging badly. Give me just a second.
oh, you're
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like lagging badly. Give me just a second.
hey, because Blitz left you hanging.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm like lagging horribly. I don't know what's going on today. But can
What's
you
the
hear me?
antecedent of creation?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So
What's the
the
antecedent
question
of
that we were asking before you tried to desperately pivot away, how many points on this line are there? How many?
I already answered that.
How many? What's the answer?
There's no way for me to know that answer without
Gotcha.
knowing
Why
like
would I think
small
that
you draw.
it's finite instead of infinite?
Why would it be infinite when you are
Because
having
you
you're
can
using a
keep
pin?
on
Wait. When you're
subdividing.
using
For
a
any
pin
distance,
on a finite piece of paper.
for any distance, you can subdivide it further.
Okay, so then you again jumped off of physical reality and started just going into mere abstract land when
It's
you're
not
holding a physical piece of
abstraction.
paper.
Space is real. You know, spatial locations are real. You know, I'm right here, you're right there. Those are real spatial locations.
No. Those are real descriptions. No, wait. Those are abstract descriptions of something that's real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of the thing that's real, how many times can it be divided? How many points are there on the thing that's real?
Okay, so let's say the thing that's real is the body of me. Well, there's a finite amount of times that it can be divided, my
Prove
guy.
it.
Are you incapable of grasping this
Prove
concept?
it. Go ahead and prove that. Oh no, it's not happening again, is it? Damn. Oops, sorry. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what the hell is going on. I wonder if I'm getting like DDoSed. Because the guy was like spamming like I have your IP, I have your IP, so I have no idea. Like the troll from earlier, but whatever.
Do you know what the antecedent of creation is?
Wait, are you still trying to pivot away?
What's the antecedent of
Well, I'm not
creation?
gonna let you pivot away. Wait, maybe this works.
No, you
on,
guys.
like, stupid
that was
fucking
the
idiots. Why would I ever
closing.
let you pivot
Wait,
away?
time out.
The question's
The
very
whole
simple.
audience saw this,
I'm gonna
bro.
ask
Just
you
so you know,
again.
you might
I'm
want to
gonna
save
ask you
face
the
here.
same question that I've been
The
asking
whole
you.
audience saw me
How
finish
many
my argument
times
with
can
that
you
question,
divide
and
the
then both
body?
of you pivoted it away.
How many times
and
can
then
you
I
divide the
entertained
body?
like
Answer.
20 consecutive desperate non sequitur
Yeah,
attempts.
go ahead and answer. How many times can I divide the body?
Okay, I've answered that 3 times, and this was all an attempt to deflect away from the fact
Prove
you're
that
scared
it's
to answer the
finite. Go ahead
question.
and prove that.
What's the antecedent to creation?
Go ahead and prove that the body is
You
finitely
can't even
subdivided
answer
and
that question in
divisible.
good faith.
That's gonna be dodge number 1.
I'm
Let's get
answering
try
your
number
bad faith
2.
question.
Try number 2 for Witsit. Oop, okay, wait, I'm back. Gosh, happened again.
What's
Hello?
the antecedent to creation,
Yeah,
bro?
so I
Why
think
can't
the
you just
question
answer
that
that
we
in
were
good
on
faith?
is what is your proof? How are you going to demonstrate that the body is or finitely subdivisible as opposed to infinitely? Go ahead.
Okay, if I answer this question for the 4th time, will you answer my original question that I asked 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if you don't deflect and conflate to abstract, then if we're physically dividing the body, then we can only do that a certain amount of times, a finite amount of times, because there's only a finite volume of matter that makes up the body. And if we're going to use some type of tool to then begin to physically divide it, we can only do that so far. The fact that I don't know what that number is, because it's dependent upon things like
sure.
what's the actual precision in which you can physically cut and divide the body, what's the total volume of the body, doesn't mean the answer is infinite. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's finite because you can only do it a finite number of times. That's circular. Do you want to try giving a non-circular justification?
Okay, you're really desperate right now. It's finite because there's only
You can hear the
a
quiver in his
limited
voice.
amount of matter.
So it's finite because there's only a finite amount. Wait, so can you subdivide the space in half that an atom resides in?
You just deflected to space again, and we're
Yeah,
talking about
space
the matter of the
exists.
body.
Sorry.
You literally cannot keep up with
Space. I'm
very
talking
simple
about
things,
space,
bro.
spatial location.
Yeah, you were talking about the physical body. How
Yeah,
many times can the
spatial
physical body be
location. Yeah,
divided?
the
and
space that
now all of a
it
sudden we're
inhabits. This guy
dividing
is so confused.
space.
It's incredible.
Are we Are we dividing the body and matter?
Spatial location is what we're talking about.
Are we dividing up the physical body and matter, or are we
Wait, so you're like roboting. I think it's gonna happen again. Maybe it won't. Maybe we'll get lucky. No, it's gonna happen. Fuck.